fans, and welcome to another edition of Agawam Sports Week. We're at Harmon Smithfield, where Agawam is going to play their third game tonight against Holyoke. But before we get into that, we got a couple questions for Frank Andrews, who's down on the field. Frank, I understand that Agawam has some key injuries tonight. Can you give us a little bit more insight in regards to those injuries?
Injuries are key to any success in any club, and Agawam right now in this game here against Holyoke, key injuries on the club, mostly on the defensive side. 4 players out for the Agawam Brownies, so that's going to tell the story and the difference. What's got to happen, of course, the players that are coming in and taking the place of those injured players have got to have and play good ball.
How is Agawam's season shaping up so far, and can you tell us what we can expect?
So far, the Agawam season shaping up not too bad at 1-1. Of course, coming off a big win against Holyoke Valley to open up the season, the loss against Chicopee, but really not by much. Agawam 30-30 against Chicopee in the fourth quarter. Its offense is very explosive. What can we expect this year? Well, in talking to some of the coaches, we can expect Agawam's offense to be quite potent thus far this season. It's going to be up to the defense, and with those injuries, it could be key.
What is the attitude of the team right now, and are the coaches happy with their progress?
Well, the attitude of the club, Frank, is probably at its highest that I've seen in the last 3 years, due largely in part to its captains and co-captains who are doing a great job with the players on and off the field. Well, what can we expect with the progress? Well, progress is working its way right up the ladder, even though it's only the third game of the season. The offense doing the job, putting the numbers up behind Jason Vatsakis and its big offensive line. Now it's up to the defense to come in and do their part.
In order for Agawam to win tonight's contest, what must take place?
I think in order for Agawam to win this contest tonight, they're going to have to do it in the trenches, and that means defensively. We're not really worried that much about their offense because they're very explosive. The defense needs a couple of good downs thus far. They've got to get Holyoke, keep them in their own end, not let them do too much. They've got to hit hard. And, of course, the key is those big injuries, these players that are stepping in to take the places of those injured, they must step in and do a good job tonight in order for Agawam to win. And also, they've got to contain Holyoke's Cedric Washington coming out of the backfield and Mr. Gabala, who's also very dangerous. And that should take care of itself because Agawam's offense, like we said before, very explosive. Frank, back up to you.
Thanks, Frank, for all that information. And we'll be right back in just a moment.
Frank Andrews along with Frank Disco at Harmon Smithfield, where the Agawam Brownies set to do battle against the Holyoke Purple Knights. Frank, how you doing?
This has been so long, it feels so good.
You know, I've got to admit.
We haven't been here in quite a while. This is just been fantastic. It's good to be back in the saddle again.
Certainly is.
And we're underway.
Yes, sir. 35, Cedric Washington kicked off. Taken there by number 44, Vatsakis. Vatsakis up the middle. Frankie's got some room. Breaks some tackles. He's going all the way. He's got number 35, Cedric Washington to beat. Cedric Washington, Jason Vatsakis, and gets him, but not before. Jason Vatsakis rambles, and Frank, that's going to go unofficially 87 yards for Jason Vatsakis.
Boy, that's a heck of a way to start the season, Frank. You can't ask for anything more than that in regards to Jason's running and his output. And it's just, good. Good to see that.
Boy, is that a way to start the new season for us. We want to remind our viewers, this is the third game for the Agawam Brownies. Brownies right now with an even record at 1-1, going against Holyoke Valley, beating them up there. That was nice to see after what they did to the Brownies last year, Frank.
Yeah, payback is kind of nice, and it wasn't as well, but it's still a factor that Holyoke Valley was a defending Super Bowl champ, coming back down to Agawam, and then Agawam handing them their first defeat at the opener. That's kind of nice. This one here is going to be very, very important for Agawam in regards to pulling up their bootstraps, and let's get this program rolling.
Sure. Frank, we got a timeout on the field. There was some confusion. Now, the ball is marked first and goal at the 2-yard line. If you just missed it and just joined us, Jason Vatsakis on the opening kickoff rambles 87 yards on the kickoff return to bring it down to the 2-yard line. Finally being stopped there by number 35, Cedric Washington. And you've got two real speedy youths out there, 35 Cedric Washington and Jason Vatsakis, and that was really a foot race.
Completely big foot race. It's a shame that Jason wasn't able to take it in. But after 86 yards or 87 yards, you've got to be just slightly winded.
I think you do. Okay, we're all set after the timeout. Number 13, Jan Moriarty takes the Brownies at the line of scrimmage. First and goal from the 2 for the Agawam Brownies. Signal's called, handoff to Jason Bottet. The spot takes us over the right side, Frank, and he's in for the score.
Nice run by Jason. Was able to come over the right tackle, and that's exactly what he's been looking for all night. He's going to have to use that right tackle or right guard. That's the slot that he's run most of his yardage from. And at 9:42 in the first quarter, short time, what about 18 seconds?
Certainly didn't take long.
No points on the board.
On the scoreboard. And Jason Bottet is off right tackle, puts the Brownies on top 6-0. Beccarelli opting to go with Brian Anderson, and the kick is up, and it's pushed the upright, Frank, and the point after attempt is good. So with 9 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the quarter, Brownies up on top early, 7-0. We knew that the Agawam Brownies were going to have to come into this game being strong. Of course, losing a battle against the Chicopee Poles, 30-30 in the fourth quarter. Agawam tried to hold on, couldn't muster enough of points. They ended up getting beat 42 or 43-30 was the final score, I believe.
Well, the score was not really indicative to the way the game was played. It was a very, very well-fought game, and like you said, right up to the fourth quarter. And basically what happens is that Agawam had some injuries, and you had gentlemen doing double duty, running both ways. And at some point, you're going to run out of steam. I don't care how much conditioning you've done. I don't care how much oxygen you're putting down. I don't care. 4 quarters of three-way ball for a player, you're going to burn it.
Very, very tough to do. And of course, Agawam, with all those injuries that they've got quite a bit of people doing double duty. What surprises me, though, Frank, is they've got number 13, Dan Moriarty, doing some punt returning and some kickoff returning. I'm a little leery about that when you've got your first-string quarterback out there who's not only fair game when he's the quarterback, but doubly fair game when you've got the opposing team, special team units coming down after you.
That's shaky. I don't know if I would advertise that too much.
I don't know. Kickoff by Anderson. Nice deep kick taken there by number 30. Juanito Rodriguez tries to go up the middle and then clutch there. 72, Matt Disco on the stop. Nice play by Disco. The ball will be spotted at about the 22-yard line. Holyoke Purple Knights will start off first and 10.
Do I comment on number 72 or leave it alone?
I was waiting for you to say something. You are more than welcome to do so.
No, he enjoys it. He likes it, and I'm happy for him. Enough of that.
Oh, gosh.
Gotta get all kinds of fan mail here.
For the Holyoke Purple Knights now, getting set to go. First and 10 from the 22. Ball handed off to number 30, Juanito Rodriguez. He fumbles the ball. He's stopped there by a host, and I think Holyoke will get it back.
A little bit of a mix-up in the backfield there. The exchange wasn't a clean one, and it got kind of bobbled, and Holyoke's very, very lucky to be able to come up with the fumble recovery. There's 4 Brownies sitting right there waiting for it.
And a loss of about 2 on the play, Frank. It's going to bring up second down and 12 for Holyoke. Agawam, as we said earlier, they've got to watch 35, Cedric Washington coming out of the backfield. And this guy here who's got the ball now, number 30, Juanito Rodriguez, puts up the middle, and then hit there by 72, Matt Disco, and number 78, Mr. Fox. That's a 1-2 combination that I wouldn't want to meet anywhere.
It puts a lot of meat on the ground at one point in time. You're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of almost 500 pounds between the two players.
Pickup of about 5 on the play. It's going to bring up third down and 7. Ball resting at about the 29-yard line for Holyoke. Brownies will look to cinch up here. They want to try and stop Holyoke on their first possession. Ball handed off to Cedric Washington, trying to get to the outside. He's got no room, and he's tackled down by number 49, Chris Benjamin, and number 83, Brian Pellegrino. And that's what the Brownies have to do, Frank. That's what we talked about earlier. They've got to get in the backfield and stop these guys.
Once they break through the line, they got to be able to capture them and contain. They can't give Cedric any opportunity to go left or right, and basically he's going to end up going up the middle. And if you can force him up the middle, you got your linebackers that'll...
Washington also doing the punting duties for Holyoke. They get set to kick back deep for the Brownies. Number 1, Bob Kunkel. Ball is punted deep in here. Nice kick by Washington, taken there by Bob Kunkel. Kunkel trying to get to the outside, and he's hammered there by Holyoke. So the Brownies will have their second offensive possession, 1st and 10. From the 46, we're down to 7 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the quarter. Brownies on top, 7-0 on the 87-yard run by Vatsakis, followed up by the 2-yard plunge by Vatsakis, and the Anderson point after, and that's where we stand, 7-0.
I'm surprised that Vicarelli's using the point after conversion single point. I would have thought he wanted to go after the 2-pointers, but the 1-points are good, and I'm glad to see he has a good kicker.
Vatsakis takes the ball. He's hit there by number 50, Patrick Leahy. Pick up maybe 6 on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd down into 4. Ball resting at the 42-yard line. And I think Vatsakis is going to get the ball. He's the type of guy who can give the ball 20 or 30 times a game, and he can still give you those yardage.
But as good as Jason is and not taking anything away from him, if you haven't got anybody in the front line to pop the hole, the running back isn't going to be able to do anything for you.
Right you are. Moriarty now set to call the play from the line of scrimmage. Ball handed off to Vatsakis once again. He got hit there by a host of Holyoke players, and number 73 leading the tackle. I have no name on him on their roster. So that's going to bring up 3rd down for the Agawam Brownies as they opt to go on the ground for Vatsakis for 2 plays. Now, do we look for a play in the air, or do we go to Vatsakis in the backfield, or you make the call?
I don't know. I think I'd probably go aerial, just because. You've got, quite a bit of yards that you've got to make up here, so let's see who plays.
3rd and short for the Brownies now. Moriarty set to go. Pitches out to number 44, Vatsakis. Tripped up there by number 30, Juanito Rodriguez. So an interesting call coming up for Coach Vecchiarelli and staff. He's got 4th down. Ball, I'd say about 2 yards from the way it looks like up here, Frank. Ball resting at about the 37-yard line.
I'd kick it. Oh, they're going for it.
Oh, sure.
Big gamble.
Back in. Yeah, 4th and 2. So the coaching staff not afraid to gamble. They are in Holyoke territory at the 37-yard line, already up 7-0. Moriarty now hands the ball. No, he keeps the ball. Moriarty around the right side, and he may have that 1st down. He's tackled there by Cedric Washington. It's going to be close. If I can see there when the bodies get out of the way. Okay, there they are right there. I think they're going to be short, Frank, and Holyoke may take over on downs, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So Holyoke holds on the Agawam Brownies' 2nd offensive possession. Good play by Cedric Washington. Brownies now will get set to go defensively. They had a very good first defensive series, and that's what they've got to do. They've got a young defensive line out front. The freshman, Brian Menard, sitting out there at nose guard. So that's a very interesting for the Agawam Brownies. There's 36, Jonathan McKissick takes the ball, and he got crunched there by a host of Agawam Brownies. Certainly no gain there. That's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 from about the 37-yard line. Good defensive surge by the Brownies, some good gang tackling, and that's what Agawam has to do.
Well, everybody's got to get into the play here. You just can't lay back and let them come to you. You've got to go after them. And that's what Agawam's, basic posture is going to have to be. You've got to be aggressive. If you're going to sit back and wait, you're going to get burned.
John Bussinger, the quarterback for the Holyoke Purple Knights. Very good mobile quarterback, so you've got to watch out for him. Bussinger with the ball. He set back the pass. He's got nobody to go to. 53, Bianca puts the pressure on, and then he heads around to the outside. Nice pickup by John Bussinger for the Holyoke Purple Knights. He's driven out of bounds by Joe Bianca. And I think there's a flag on the play, Frank.
I didn't quite see anything drop, but
Well,
looks like something's going to happen
I
here.
think Joe
There it
Bianca
is.
might have hit John Bussinger a little too hard there. 72, Matt Disco limping out of the field right now. So Joe Bianca draws the personal foul. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty, dead ball foul. Oh, excuse me, they're going to give it on the 78, Frank, Mike Foss.
A little aggressiveness there, I think, on the end of the play. And it's a shame because, everybody gets into the game, and it's a tough call. It really is.
So Holyoke will start out 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line for the Brownies. Brownies need to stay out of trouble on the penalties, no doubt about that. 1st and 10 from the 44, handed off to Cedric Washington. Washington looks to break tackles, and then he's really stacked up there by the Agawam defense. He might have gotten a yard. That's so far, anytime Cedric Washington, Frank, has touched the ball here this evening, the Brownies swarming all over him, and I think that's what they're going to have to do.
Well, yeah, most definitely. It's just like Holyoke is seeing on Jason. I mean, you know who's going to carry the ball. You have no choice in regards to that. So if, in fact, Cedric is going to be the ball carrier, then you key on it. And by right, you should almost put somebody on him any time, so whether he has the ball or doesn't have the ball, he gets wrecked. And that's what they're doing
Is a good philosophy.
Can I coach? For the coach.
Yes, you can. Go right ahead. 2nd and 9 from the 43 for Holyoke. Bussinger back to pass. He's got a wide open number 30, Juanito Rodriguez. Knocked out of bounds by Brian Pellegrino, number 83. Pickup of only about 2 yards. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7 for Holyoke. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is interesting. I love it. It's been so long since we've been doing this. That just to be out here again and seeing the guys play and seeing how they've worked is just great. I'm sorry. Lose my composure.
Is that all right? There's some rum over there and a little tin cup right
No, we don't do that. We can't smoke on this field, so we can't drink either.
2nd and 9 from the 43 for Holyoke now. Trying to get her, 3rd down, 7. Trying to get to the outside, quarterback keeper. Hit there by 43, Marty Giroux. Got about 3 minutes and 2 seconds to go in this first quarter, Frank. Nice hit there, a nice pick by Marty Giroux. Now that's going to bring up 4th down, and depending upon where they spot the ball, it looks like it's going to be about 3 yards they're going to need for a first.
Well, this is going to be a very, very important down for Agawam. They've got to stop Holyoke here.
Yeah, they certainly do. Frank, we've got a timeout on the field with the score, the Agawam Brownies 7 and the Holyoke Purple Knights nothing. We'll be back. Moriarty decided to go for it, and they made it. So now here's Holyoke with a 4th and 3 situation in Brownie territory, and they're coming back out, and they're going to go for it.
It's a gutsy call. Evidently they found some kind of weakness that they might be able to capitalize on, and hopefully it'll work out. So we'll have to see what happens.
John Bussinger now for the Holyoke Purple Knights brings them up to the line of scrimmage. 4th down and 3 for Holyoke. Bussinger now, he's back to pass. No pressure. Ball. Yeah, beautiful completion. Number 30, Juanito Rodriguez was wide open.
Gutsy call.
Yes, sir.
Real gutsy call. Evidently they felt that they could work the Agawam secondary and was able to get Bussinger open.
Well, they certainly did. Bob Kunkel making the tackle out there, and it's going to be 1st down and 10. Holyoke on the Agawam Brownies 27-yard line after that completion. So the Brownies have to be careful also of the aerial attack. Ball handed off to Cedric Washington. Oh, what a beautiful move in the center of the line. Gets to the outside, Frank. He's got one man to beat. 33, finally taking him down. Ryan Colby. Boy, I wish we had instant replay because
nice move.
What a move by Cedric Washington. He froze the Agawam defense and then went the other way. Now there's a flag on the field. We've got a flag sitting on the field, and we've got an offside against the Agawam Brownies. So naturally, Holyoke will decline one.
Hopefully they will decline it.
Well, yes. 1st and 10 now for the Purple Knights on the Once again, you're watching the new Agawam Sports Week. Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco. We're bringing you high school football action. And also, trouble in your screen right there, number 53, Joe Bianca, coming off the field and not under his own power, and that is not a good sign, Frank.
No, it isn't. That's an injury that you don't want to see someone limping. That's an ankle or a knee, and that's dangerous.
Set the goal for Holyoke. They're after the Brownie 11-yard line. Cedric Washington up the middle, untouched for a Holyoke touchdown. Nice play by Cedric Washington, Frank, and I don't know where the Brownie defense was on that, but he was really untouched.
He went through that whole line on the left-hand side or our right, and there wasn't anybody to pick him up. And just plain and simple. That's that. I don't know what to tell you.
81 out there for Holyoke, Mike Philpott. He'll get set to kick the point after. So both coaches after touchdowns opting to go with the point after attempt rather than the 2-point conversion. Philpott set to kick the ball. The ball is up and no good, Frank. That's wide left. So we're down to 2 minutes, 39 seconds to go in the first quarter. Brownies leading 7-6. And very interesting, the defense starting out strong, Frank, on the Holyoke drive. And then the 15-yard penalty, personal foul, hurt them. And right after that, Holyoke started moving the ball up the field. And that's something that might happen with a young defensive squad when you've got a team with a lot of injuries up front.
Well, right now, Agawam's really hurting. They've got 4 of their main starters out. They've got a big gap right in the center of the line. You've got some, matter of fact, you've got a freshman that's even playing on defense, which is no problem, and I have no problem with that. But you're dealing with high school environment. It's a little different than playing, say the youth program or something like that. These boys, definitely will clock you.
No doubt about that. Set the kickoff for Holyoke now, number 35, Cedric Washington. And yes, folks, that is the same gentleman that just scored Holyoke's first touchdown. Cedric Washington now set to kick off for Holyoke. And the ball kicked off. And the ball is going to go out of bounds. So they'll redo the kick only from 5 yards deeper. Frank, we had a chance to talk with the coaches earlier. Oh, that's a nice shot.
The moon over Agawam.
Moon over Agawam.
Cameraman's awake tonight.
Oh, very pretty shot you see there from Harmon Smith Field, deep in the mountains of tranquility.
Ooh, where'd you pull that one from?
I don't know, and I don't even have a book open.
That was good.
So Cedric Washington now will redo the kick for the Holyoke Purple Knights.
Shows the tranquility.
Oh, sorry. They had a chance to talk to the coaching staff earlier, Frank, and they had high expectations for the Brownies at the beginning of the season. We had a chance to talk to them. A very, very potent defensive line and a very good offensive line, which is, of course, a key to any team's success. And with the Brownies with so many injuries now, it's going to be very tough to regroup. We'll have to see here. So just a very important victory needed by Agawam tonight. Cedric Washington gets the ball off, taken there by 13, Dan Moriarty. Moriarty trying to go up the middle, follows the wedge up through.
Makes some positive yardage.
Did a real nice
good yardage. I hate seeing a quarterback as a punt returner.
Oh, you don't like it at all. But
you know where people are going.
That's why we're not coaches, I guess. Ball spotted at about the 42 on the nice run back by Moriarty. Brownies will have it first and 10. If you just joined us, the Agawam Brownies and the Holyoke Purple Knights here on Agawam Sports Week, Channel 32. Brownies lead 7-6. We're still in the first quarter.
Long first quarter, Frank.
It really is. 38 in motion for the Brownies. Pitched out there to 44. Vatsakis makes a nice move. Hit there by 55. Stan Kobylansky. Pick up maybe 2 yards on the play. It'll bring up second down and 8 for the Agawam Brownies. And Frank, turned out to be kind of a cool evening here.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, it's not raining. not snowing.
I better not say anything then.
We don't have fog. We don't have sleet.
So what we have is perfect football weather.
So we sit here with our hot chocolate, and that's that.
Second down and 8 for the Brownies now. Back to pass. Moriarty throws the ball up. Complete to Bob Kunkel. A nice move by Bob Kunkel. Makes a beautiful spin move. And then finally dropped there by several Holyoke defenders, but not before he picks up the first down. Nice move by Bob Kunkel.
Nice reception, and he was able to cut to the inside, avoided 2 tacklers, was finally pulled down by 1, and then ended up being gang tackled by a host of Holyoke defenders. And the last one going in come very, very close to coming up with a personal foul.
Yeah, no doubt about that, but ref might not have been on it. A lot of grabbing and clutching going on. So the Brownies on the pass completion about Kunkel, 1st and 10 at the Holyoke 32-yard line. 38 in the backfield. Steve Lanier gets the handoff. Nice run by Steve Lanier. Hit there by number 75, Jim Wildman, and number 35, the ever-dangerous Cedric Washington. Will bring up second down for the Agawam Brownies.
Yeah, Cedric is playing both ways like the quarterback, so he ends up hurting everybody here.
Well, Ironman football being played here by both clubs. Second down for the Agawam Brownies, deep in Holyoke territory now. Hands off the 44 up the middle. Vatsakas makes a couple of spin moves. Hit there by number 75, Jim Wildman and company.
A lot of blue shirts and no white shirts around Jason.
Yes. Yeah, they really converged on him that time. Third down and 5, Frank. Ball resting at the Holyoke 28-yard line. I don't know if there'll be enough to get the play off before the first quarter ends. I'll be very surprised. And they do not.
Didn't get it off.
No, they didn't. So, Frank, that's the first quarter at the end of 1 here at Harmon Smith Field. The score, the Brownies 7 and the Holyoke Purple Lake 6. We'll bring you back here in just a moment. First quarter ending with the score of the Agawam Brownies 7 and the Holyoke Purple Lake 6. A good shot at the Agawam Brownie cheerleaders, Frank, who I understand trying to make cheerleading a sport in school was the last thing that I heard. They have, I believe it's an extracurriculum type of activity, and what they're trying to do is get cheerleading a actual sport in school.
Huh. That's new. That's interesting.
Yes, it is. Third down and 5 from the 28 for the Agawam Brownies with this the start of the second quarter.
Well, he got him the jump.
Yes, he got him.
I love it.
We've got some movement, and I believe that's going to be an illegal procedure call against Holyoke. Yes, sir.
Long count, needed the yardage. Thank you very much.
And
First and 10.
it certainly did. First and 10 from the 23-yard line. They're very cheerful tonight, I might add.
No, that's you see that once a game. And I was wondering when he was going to pull it. You get him a fight one.
It worked for perfection. 13 Moriarty getting the play from the sideline. First and 10 from the 23. Brownies on top, 7-6. On this very nice night here at Harmon Smith Field.
This is great football weather. We're down about 50 degrees. Humidity's about 40%. You couldn't ask. These guys have been out there really working, and the team's not coming off. So, hey, it's just about excellent ball weather.
John Quill couldn't have put that any better.
No, I don't even want to, fall into this weather-guessing community.
Run there by Jason Vatsakas, hit there finally by number 30, Juanito Rodriguez. Pickup of maybe 2 on the play. It'll bring up second down and 8 from the 21-yard line. Brownies running the ball very well. They've got a very good running game and very good linemen up in front. A very good explosive team, if you will, on the offense. We've only had a chance to watch them a couple of times this year. They've done a great job offensively, and they're certainly not afraid to to run the ball right at you off tackle on either side because they've got the lineman there to open up the hole. Jason Vatsekis right there. Boy, I'll tell you, he just got nailed by number 30, Juanito Rodriguez, 75 in there, also Jim Wildman. And that's going to be about a 3-yard loss. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 11 from the 24-yard line.
Oh, that's one of those things that they were keying on Jason, waiting for him to come through the line. They stacked the left-hand side, which is Holyoke's left-hand side, and this is high. Here we are.
They met him right at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere for Jason Vatsekis to run. 3rd and 11. Ball at about the 24-yard line. Back to pass. Moriarty takes the shovel step up, complete to number 1, Bob Kunkel. Yes! Touchdown, Agawam Brownies.
Nice call, nice play, nice pass. Excellent execution.
Perfectly said. I couldn't say it any better than that. Agawam Brownies with 7 minutes and 59 seconds left increased their lead over the Holyoke Purple Knights by the score of 14-6.
Nice accolades there being given by the team. Well deserved. Well thrown ball.
Oh, it certainly was. And
Well
Bob
thrown.
Kunkel did a good job to get behind the defenders and get wide open there.
Now, let's see. Does he go for 2? Does he go for 1? No. He calls a timeout.
Calls a timeout.
I love it.
Well, I think what they want to do, Frank, is talk about whether they're going to go for the 2 or would it be better to go for the 1.
Well, it's going to be a tough one. I think what's going to happen, that's an interesting shot. I wonder if the cameraman's getting lazy.
Either that or he fell on the ground, but it is a really good shot.
It's going to be a tough call. Do you want to put 2 up there, which now is going to force Holyoke to go for 2. Both squads can kick the point after. I think myself, I go for the 2 just to force Holyoke and allow your defense to stop them.
Oh, no doubt about it. You go for the 2 here, and if you are successful, it forces Holyoke to go for the 2 should they come down on the field and score upon it. And I'm sure that's what Coach Vecchiarelli is thinking about right now. I don't think we're going to see Brian Anderson come out onto the field on this. I think we're going to see a 2-point attempt by the Agawam Brownies.
Oh, I think we're going to be right here, Frank.
Agawam will forego the 1-point EAC. They'll try for 2. The offense back on the field.
Agawam's offense coming back out onto the field after the timeout. You just missed it. A perfectly placed ball by Moriarty, Dan Moriarty, to number 1, Bob Kunkel, for Agawam's 2nd touchdown of this first half. Set to go for the 2-point conversion now. Pass back, complete!
Oh, nice!
Big play,
Nice!
83, Brian Pellegrino. And the Brownies capture the 2 points on the board and go on top 15 over Holyoke 6. Just what they needed to do. And now, with that 2-point conversion that we talked about, it forces Holyoke, should they score, to go for the 2 points.
Have to. If nothing else, just to keep the game even. And it's going to be interesting to see how Holyoke is going to address this situation.
Well, now I'm sure what's going to happen is they've got to get together and say, hey, look, we can hold these guys. We've done it before. Sure, they've scored a touchdown on us, but on a couple of occasions, hey, we've stuffed them. We've stopped their star running back. They've got to go in there with a positive attitude when Holyoke gets the ball after this Anderson kick, and they've got to keep their momentum going. They've got to keep their heads up, and the older players on the team got to tell some of these younger guys, hey, guys, you can do it. Just go out there, stick them, and go and stay to your game plan.
You want to be the coach?
No.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
I took that right out of Knut Rockney's playbook.
All ready to airborne this big game.
Yes, we are. Brian Anderson puts his foot into it. Taken there by number 30, Juanito Rodriguez. Very dangerous when he gets to the outside, but no way. Oh, no, he's driven down there by 56, Mike Perry.
Yeah, Mike says, I want a piece of purple shirt.
And he certainly got it. Holyoke will start out now offensively. 1st and 10, the ball resting at about their own 24-yard line. Brownies now will get set defensively. And they should be pretty much sky high. One thing, I'll tell you, a very good thing happening to Agawam right now is that their offense have given the defense a lead, so that's something for the defense to really shoot for. They're not behind in the game. Now Holyoke has to play catch-up. Run to number 35, Cedric Washington. Washington, boy, with those tricky moves. Finally hit there by Danny Moriarty. Also in on the stop, 83, Brian Pellegrino. Pickup of about 9 yards. That's much too much for the Agawam defense to give up. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Ball at about the 33-yard line.
No, you can't let Cedric out and turn the corner. If he turns the corner on you, he's going to burn you. He's going to burn you for a reasonable amount of yardage. And it's always been, you know, the things that have happened in the past against Agawam. You get a running back, give me 4 yards, give me 5 yards, give me 3 yards to carry. Cedric's giving him 7, 8, and 9.
No doubt. Set to go now. Bussinger hands off to number 35, Washington. Washington tries to get to the outside. He does. Tries to get past 13. Moriarty fumbles the ball, and the ball is on the playing field, and the Brownies recover.
Big play, big fumble.
Oh, boy, last one getting up there on the pile. I think 75. Chris Benjamin got that. Boy, Washington did a nice play. He got to the outside. He started in the middle, saw too much traffic there, went to the outside, and then a nice job. And I think number 13, Dan Moriarty, stripped it out of his hand. Pellegrino right there to pounce on it.
Well, that's what you got to have. You got to, you know, on a fumble play or a cause of a fumble is 2 people. One person is basically concentrating on trying to strip it. The second one is basically concentrating, if he strips it, where's it going? And the name of the game, jump on it. Don't try and pick it up. Just jump on it and down it.
Brownies now set to go 1st and 10. Moriarty goes to the air. He's way airborne. Oh! Over the defender, 22, Bob Fink. On the coverage for Holyoke, Bob Kunkel in and out of his hands. So with the incomplete pass, we're back to square one, 2nd down and 10. Nice opening play there by the Brownies.
Oh, excellent. Something that I've noticed this year here over last year, seems that the Agawam passing is becoming a little bit more prevalent, and they're also becoming a lot more accurate.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. And I also like Agawam's play selection so far this year. I think they're mixing it up well. They've got a couple of new things being thrown at the defenses of the other teams, and I like to see that. That's good calling by the coach's part.
Keep them guessing. You don't want to let them go. Here's another one. Quarterback keeper.
And Moriarty picked up about 5. He's hit there by 55, Stan Kobylansky. So that's going to bring up 3rd down and 5 for the Agawam Brownies off the keeper by Moriarty. Moriarty now on the sideline as he talks to the coaching staff on what play they want to run. Short yardage play, Frank. You have to pretty much think it's going about second.
Let's fake him out. Give it to somebody else.
Sure.
Send Vots right and his other player left and
hope for the best. Oh, you've got Lanier, number 38. There's Vatsekis breaking up the left side. And he's dragged down there by a host of players. Check out that forward progress. I'm not sure where they're going to mark it, but I think it's going to be 4th down. Yeah, where he's resting the ball right there is going to be short about 2 yards. So 4th and 2 coming up for Agawam.
Now it's a tough call. You knew who was going to get it just soon as it was pitched out. And they're keying on Jason. They got to be.
Well, little deja vu. 4th and 2. Same situation as in the 4th quarter. Agawam 4th and 2, gambling and picking up the 1st down. Brownies set to go now, 4th and 2. Ball handed off to Vatsekis, and he swarmed there by a host of Holyoke Purple Knights, and nothing going there as Holyoke is going to take over going the other way, 1st and 10. Referee spots the ball at the 40-yard line.
They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 40.
first and 10 on the 40. A big defensive effort on Holyoke's part. Agawam gambling once again, 4th and 2. Could not get the necessary yardage, and that's where we are with Holyoke.
A little bit of personnel shift.
I think so. Back to pass now. Oh, big play to number 85, the end, Mark Gabala. Boy, is he dangerous coming out of the backfield, and that's plenty for a first down. Ball will be spotted at about the 45-yard line.
45-yard line. Pass from Bussinger to Gubala, just for 15 yards.
Pick up a 15 yards on the play, Frank, and that's much too much.
You can't give them that kind of yardage. And it looks like Agawam's starting to get a little wary here, and I don't quite understand why. I know they do have some injuries, but, you know, Holyoke seems to start picking them apart here a little bit.
Pass to 35, Cedric Washington, straight up the middle. Good yardage for Cedric Washington, hit there by a host of Brownies, but not before he picks up about 5 yards. So that's going to bring up 2nd down and 5. If you just joined us, Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco, we're at Harmon Smithfield for our opening in our new Agawam Sports Week. We'd like to welcome you to the show, bringing you the Agawam Brownies and the Holyoke Purple Knights, with the Brownies on top at the moment, 15-6. Ball handed off to Cedric Washington. Washington hit there. Oh, a big play there. He's crushed by number 60 for the Agawam Brownies. And Frank, I have no roster name on number 60.
Really?
No, sir, I don't.
Huh.
I have no roster name on number 60.
Tackle, though.
Great play. What a great play. That's going to bring up 3rd down for Holyoke. And that's what the Agawam Brownies are going to have to do. They're going to have to get some big plays like they just got there to stop that potented Holyoke backfield. Juanito Rodriguez in motion. John Bassinger doesn't like what he sees, and he calls a timeout, Frank. We're down to about 4 minutes, 17 seconds to go in the half. Brownies on top, 14-6. We'll bring you back here in just a moment. There.
This is X's and O's.
You send out for coffee, and I'll meet you back over here at halftime. Back to the playing field. Holyoke now pitched out to 35. Cedric Washington to the outside. He's got running room, Frank, and no one's going to touch him. Touchdown, Holyoke. Boy, what a play Holyoke made there. Cedric Washington really put the afterburners on. 33 running past Brian Colby, and number 1, Bob Kunkel, and he just outdistanced him for Holyoke's 2nd touchdown.
Well, you turn him loose like that, and he's going to get you, and he's going to get you big time. And that's exactly what happened. There wasn't anybody to really stay up with him. He cut to the outside and just kind of tiptoed through the tulips all the way down.
He certainly did. No one there to touch him on the sideline. Holyoke scores its 2nd touchdown. We're down to 4 minutes and 5 seconds to go in this first half. Brownies still leading this contest. Holyoke now opting to go with the 2-point conversion. Like we talked about, Frank, they have to go for the 2. Back to pass, Bussinger, back, he throws, across the middle, diving catch. Oh, complete. What a beautiful catch by number 30, Juanito Rodriguez. And Holyoke completes their 2-point conversion. But the Brownies still holding on, 15-14.
That was a nice reception, but like I said, I wish we had slow-mo instant replay because I think he trapped it. He was down too low to get his hands underneath it. I think it was a nice trap call.
Well, I don't know.
Nice reception.
Oh, certainly was.
I mean, not taking anything away from him.
Not at all.
You know, but
not at all.
It looked like that was
From my vantage point, I could not tell. And I will be quite honest with you, I could not tell from where we were.
We're just going to have to get that cameraman down on the sideline to get in tighter. That's all there is to it.
Well,
Just get him tighter.
Give us some instant replay. Holyoke getting on the scoreboard for the 2nd time. Brownies on top, 15-14. Cedric Washington, number 35, will get set to kick off to the Brownies. Brownies now have plenty of time to rumble up the field, so to speak, and score on Holyoke if they can.
Well, they've got 4 minutes to go. Ball control. Make your play selection that works. Possibly you might want to listen to some of that stuff that was going on the sidelines because you're catching it from the people who are out in the trenches. Maybe the spotters up top aren't seeing some things that the players are seeing. And it looks like they were going over something very, very important down there because everybody looked like they were pretty much in agreement to what was happening.
35 now, set to kick off Cedric Washington for Holyoke. If you just joined us, Agawam Brownies on top, 15-14 over the Holyoke Purple Knights. Ball in the air, taken by 13, Dan Moriarty. Moriarty trying to get to the outside. He gets stuffed up there in the middle as he's hit there by number 22, Tremaine Langhorn, for the Holyoke Purple Knights. And the Brownies will have it 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line.
Nice run back by Dan Moriarty, but that's dangerous. That is dangerous. You're taking your quarterback. Here he is, and you say, okay, you go out, and you're going to catch the kickoff. Now, you've got 11 guys, and all they want to do is nail a guy who's catching the kickoff.
Well, it's
suicide squad.
Very interesting. Of course, if anything were to happen to Dan Moriarty, you've got number 7, Dave Curley, who could step in.
Oh, yeah.
Very able quarterback, young, a little bit of inexperience, but he throws a heck of a mean football. We've seen him in practice. We saw him up against Huzik. But you don't want to put Agawam in that position.
Not at all.
Brownies now handing off to Jason Vatsekis, and he got stuffed there by a host of Purple Knights. He may have picked up maybe one. Going to bring up 2nd down and 9 for the Agawam Brownies. Brownies now looking for that good play selection. They've got plenty of time on the board. Keep their cool, go for some good play selection, execute well, and they've got plenty of time to get into the end zone from where they are. Ball pitched out to 44, Jason Vatsekis. Vatsekis trying to get to the outside, and he's run out of bounds there, but not before he picks up 6 yards for the Agawam Brownies to bring up 3rd and 3. Ball at the 37-yard line.
I think the cameraman, every time a play comes to his side, gets a little gun shy.
Well, yeah. Certainly not much protection when you're...
Well, you just put the camera in front of you.
Agawam Brownies out of the huddle now. Dan Moriarty up at the line of scrimmage looking over that Holyoke defense. 3rd and 3 for the Agawam Brownies. Ball pitched out to 44. Once again, Vatsekis breaks a few tackles and then hit there by the Purple Knights, led there by 63, Mickey Jones. But not before he picks up an Agawam 1st down. Yeah, and they're going to mark it 1st and 10 at about the 40-yard line.
Looks like what they're going to do is they're going to come over and measure this thing because they're not sure.
Well,
they just call for a change.
Will. Yeah, I'd have to say that from where they've got it, it looks like they've got it by about half a football, I'd say, from our camera near. You're looking right at our camera. And they've got it by more than that. So a 1st down by the Agawam Brownies, a key 1st down for Agawam, keeps their offensive drive alive. They'll have it 1st and 10 at about the 40-yard line.
Well, this is the yardage. This is the clock yardage, I guess you want to call it. Make your 10, eat the clock. Make your 10, eat the clock, and hopefully you make your 10 and eat the clock and score a touchdown before the clock eats you.
Yes. No doubt about that. There's no other way to put that. Moriarty now back to pass. He's got room. He airballs it. And way overthrown. Going number 33, Brian Colby. Coverage there by Bob Fink, number 22 for Holyoke. So with the incomplete pass, it'll bring up 2nd down for the Brownies.
Looks like there's a little confusion on the pattern because that ball was about 10 to 15 yards deeper than what Brian was supposed to be.
Overthrown. Brian Colby now, that could have been overthrown. or Brian Colby ran the wrong pass pattern. In any event, incomplete pass brings up second down and 10. Brownies still on top here in this first half, 15-14 over Holyoke. Ball pitched out to Vatsekis and falls down, and oh, very close. Vatsekis' knee hit the ground right away. He's dead there.
And they almost called for a late hit.
Yes, almost. You saw the referee right there. He kind of looked at it and said, well, I think I'll let that one go considering the score. Well, we've got about 2 minutes and 29 seconds to go in this first half. Brownies on top 15-14. A timeout has been called, and that's going to be charged against the Agawam Brownies. If you just joined us, you're watching Agawam Sports Week. Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco as we begin our new season here at Harmon Smith Field. Brownies on top 15-14 over the Holyoke Purple Knights. Brownies face third down and 12 and a 2-yard loss by Jason Vatsekis on that previous play. Moriarty with the ball now, tries to get away and fumbles the ball. Moriarty fumbled the ball. He was sacked back there. 85, Mark Gabala put the pressure on, and the ball was recovered by number 73 for Holyoke, and we have no name for number 73 on the roster, but a good two-time job by Mark Gabala and number 73, Frank, and that's very dangerous because now you've got Holyoke first and 10.
And not too...
Plenty of time left on the clock, so it puts the Brownies and their defense in a very, very sticky situation. A very sticky situation. So John Bussinger set the goal for Holyoke, first and 10 at the Agawam 30. Fakes the handoff, goes in the air ball, one, oh! Just broken up!
Oh, nice breakup.
Just broken up by 13, Dan Moriarty, and that was a bullet. The number 30, Juanito Rodriguez, and that had touchdown all over it, Frank.
Oh, big time. Had Dan not got his right hand up in the face, not in the face of the receptor, but up there to knock that ball away. Hey, this is another 6 up on the board in a heartbeat.
So a very key play for Dan Moriarty. Bring up second down and 10. Ball still at the 30 for the Holyoke Purple Knights. Ball handed off to 35. Big hole for Cedric Washington. Knocked down there by 33, Brian Colby. He picked up about 8 or 9 yards on the play, Frank, and that's going to bring up second down, or a third down. Very, very interesting.
Well, they're letting them get in. They're letting them get that 6 and 7 yards, like I said earlier, and you're going to have to stop Cedric Washington. If you don't stop him, he will hurt you.
Pitch out to 35, Cedric Washington tries to get to the outside, gets away from a couple of Brownies, spins, makes a nice move. Nice move, taken inside the 15-yard line, finally driven out of bounds by 75, Mike Clough and company. But not before the Holyoke Purple Knights pick up a first down.
Yeah, they're trying to work the clock. I think Holyoke is out of timeouts right at the moment.
Well, the clock's still running, and they've got to take a look at that. Number 12, Bussinger, knows that. He's trying to get his guys up to the line. Clock's starting to run, and he just throws the ball away. Now, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, they're going to let that fly.
I don't know why they let that go now. I can understand, you're throwing the ball to stop the clock, but he just threw that ball like a pass. How can you call that incomplete? You don't even have a receiver in the vicinity at all.
Well,
I mean, no receiver in the vicinity at all.
Well, stop the clock. Oh, count it.
John Bussinger now trying to get the Holyoke Purple Knights on the score, but once again gets to the outside. No one there, has to cut back in, and taken down by Bussinger, but not before a Holyoke touchdown. Boy, a a big play by number 12, John Bussinger for Holyoke. Does the job.
That's the one touchdown that Agawam didn't want to let him get. It's nice to be able to go into the dressing room on top instead of going into the dressing room down by a few. 5 to be exact. They got a minute and 22 seconds to go on the clock. Well, it's going to be interesting.
A very tough turnaround for the Agawam Brownies. A timeout being called by Holyoke before, and they still got their 1 or 2 point conversion to throw. But I'm very interested in a couple of things. One, the pass that was thrown to stop the clock. Now, it was called an incomplete pass. No one even in the vicinity. I mean, clear cut, no one in the vicinity.
Well,
and they let that fly. A very tough happening for the Agawam Brownies. Of course, earlier, Moriarty fumbling the ball on some heavy pressure by Mark Kabala, and then the fumble recovered by number 70 for Holyoke. And that's where we stand right now. Holyoke having the ball on the Agawam 30-yard line. A couple of nice plays by Holyoke, and then the nice run by number 12, John Bussinger. And that's where we are right now with the Holyoke Purple Knights on top of the Brownies, 18-15.
It's going to be an interesting play here. Are they going to go for 2 or are they going to go for 1?
Well, I'd have to say at this point they're going to do the same thing that the Brownies did to them.
Go for 2?
They're going to go for the 2 points. I don't see their kicker out there, and I would have to say that Holyoke is going to go for the 2.
This is going to be a very, very important play.
Yes, it is.
Because it's going to be uplifting for Holyoke if they make it, uplifting for Agawam if they don't.
Pitch out. No, a fake pitch out. Number 12 looking to pass and cross there.
Big
Big play by 34, the freshman Brian Menard. Nice play. Menard at that nose slot came out of nowhere, blindsided Bussinger. And the 2-point conversion is no good, Frank, and that's where we stand right now. Holyoke 20, Agawam 15. We'll bring you back here in just a moment. So we lost you if you just joined us. Holyoke on top, 20 to Agawam 15. On the quarterback plunge, if you will, by number 12, John Bussinger. Set the kick, 35, Cedric Washington, who already has a touchdown in this game. Jason Vatsakis, number 33, Brian Colby, the deep back for the Agawam Brownies. Agawam will have just under a minute, 22 seconds to go to try to get the ball in the end zone. Ball kicked off, taken there by Jason Vatsakis. Vatsakis looking for room, tries to get to the outside, and the lane closes up quickly as number 55, Stan Kobylansky, makes the tackle for Holyoke. Brownies will have it. First and 10 at about the 25-yard line with about a minute 16 to go in this first half.
Well, Agawam's going to have to try and make something happen. I've heard that on TV the other night. Make it happen?
Yeah.
Which is kind of a neat phrase. So let's see if they're able to make it happen.
Well, I'd say that the Brownies at this point will have to go to the air. They don't have much time to work the clock. Ball thrown and in and out of the hands of number 1, Bob Kunkel. 22, Tremaine Langhorn on the coverage. So Agawam's first set goes by the wayside. Second down and 10 on the incomplete pass.
Well, at least they don't run off that much time on the clock. They're able to stop the clock with the incompleted pass. But they didn't make any yardage either.
No, and you've got to watch out. One thing about that, you've got to watch out for the interception, too. You're deep in your own territory. So if you're going to throw the ball, you've got to make sure it's on the money. Back to pass once again, Moriarty. Moriarty with the ball. He's got number, in and out of the hands of Bob Kunkel. Oh, just in and out of the hands. It would have been a beautiful play. Coverage once again, Tremaine Langhorn. So that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 10 on the incomplete pass. So the Brownies pretty much have to go to the air again. Timeout being called. Somebody doesn't like something or they want to talk about something. Moriarty and the whole team coming to the sideline with the timeout. They want to talk about it. It would be nice if the Brownies could get on the board and go ahead at the half. And it's nice to be able to pass in the air, but you've got to be careful when you do it. You've got to watch out.
No, this is one of those things. If you're going to throw pass plays, all well and good and everything's great, but you got to make them right. You can't air it out just because you think you want to air it out. You've got to make it a positive call. I question a pass play occasionally. I've thought that maybe it might not be bad. Hey, let's either A, you can't do it on the ground and we're going to run the clock out. You know, I mean, there's two philosophies.
Well, there certainly is. In one aspect, if you're going to pass, you've got to pretty much be on the money, and the pass is going to get you that big play.
There's a shot of one of our cameramen.
Way deep up in La La Land.
Crow's Nest country.
Yes, sir. And on the other hand, of course, like you said, do you go in and say, well, behind, let's play conservative, let's run the ball, if something happens, we get in. Let's get out of this half and regroup. We'll see what Agawam does. 3rd down and 10 now. Ball resting at the 25-yard line of the Brownies. Once again, Moriarty back to pass. He's scrambling. Oh! Tried to throw it there. He drilled it at number 44, Jason Botsekis. In and out of the hands right there on the coverage, 55, Stan Kobylansky. So that's going to bring up 4th and 10. Brownies, no doubt, will have to punt it out of there. And the Brownies, I don't know why, are calling a timeout, Frank. But with their timeout, we'll take a timeout. We'll bring you back here at Harm-Smith Field in just a moment. Before the break, Frank, incorrectly, it was charged to Holyoke. Holyoke stopping the clock, and rightfully so, because it gives them a chance to get the ball back and do more damage.
Well, Holyoke's going to run out of timeouts here, or if they haven't already. But I guess at this stage of the game, really don't care. Huh?
Well, 4th down for the Brownies. Back to punt, number 10, Brian Anderson. Back deep for the Holyoke Purple Knights, 35, Cedric Washington. Nice boot there by Anderson. Ball takes an Agawam Brownie roll, and then picked up there by number 35, Washington, and he's crushed there by 56, Mike Perry.
That's an interesting call because both knees of Cedric was on the ground when he fielded the ball.
Certainly looked like it. The ball should have been blown dead right there when his knees touched the ground. Right. They put the ball back on the original spot. In any event, Holyoke will have it 1st and 10 at the 37. We've got 44 seconds of playing time left in this first half. And what a first half it's been.
Oh, it's been very, very exciting. I don't even want to predict the second half, but if they keep playing the way that it is, this is going to be a very, very close game.
I think so. Well, we'll see right now what Holyoke opts to do with not much time left on the clock. Bussinger now gives the ball to 35, Cedric Washington. Breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles, breaks 3 tackles, gets to the outside. He's kind of hemmed in, but no, he makes his way to the outside. Cedric Washington. Oh, he turned nothing into a big game on some poor tackling by the Brownies.
Trying to arm tackle Cedric, you're not going to make it. The player, and you got to give him his due. We've seen him since youth football. And he was an outstanding player there, and as he comes up through high school last year, this year here, I mean, he's just been nothing but improving, and he falls into the Jason Botsekis area in regards to stability on your feet. You're not going to knock him down with an arm tackle.
1st and 10 now for the Holyoke Purple Knights. Back to pass, Bussinger, and a wide open Jonathan Blanchard. Number 16 hit there out of bounds by 43, Marty Giroux. But another Holyoke first down. And more importantly, Frank, that stops the clock.
Yes, it does. Made the tackle out of bounds, shut the clock down, gives them another chance to regroup, gives them a chance to remark the change. They don't have to do a hurry-up offense. They've got time to snap the ball.
See the clock in your picture right there. 24 seconds to go. Holyoke Purple Knights on top in this contest, 20-15. And trying to look for more as the Purple Knights is set to go offensively here. Back to pass is John Bussinger. And across the middle, complete to Mark Gabala. Hit there by Brian Pellegrino, Frank, and some trouble.
There's the flag.
Yes, sir. Flag thrown right after that play in the vicinity of Mark Gabala, and I think that's going to be a personal foul.
Looks like it.
Yes, sir. Obviously, 85 Mark Abala really didn't like the way he was being tackled, and he let it be known, and the ref was right there. So a costly 15-yard penalty against Holyoke.
Yeah, that's one that you don't want to have happen. I really didn't see anything wrong with the tackle. I thought it was a nice wrap him up, pull him down. I mean, it wasn't anything cheap about it. It was a good clean hit.
No, I didn't think so, but obviously Mark Abala felt there was something that he didn't like. Something may have been said. I don't know. In any event, first down and 15 now from the 37-yard line for the Holyoke Purple Knights.
Didn't it be first and 10 from the 37, maybe?
Looking at it from the 6 here after the penalty mark off, it looks like first and 15.
Yeah.
Back to pass now. John Bussinger, he airs it out long. That ball is complete. Oh, what a catch by number 30, Juanito Rodriguez. Oh, my gosh. And you know something? That clock is still running, Frank, or it should be running.
It should be, but I don't think that it is, Frank. I think they've got that clock stopped.
That clock's supposed to be running.
Look at Ziccarelli. He is going crazy. He wants to wind the clock.
That wasn't running. Now, hold on 1 second.
Oh, nice call by the referee. Make the reception. Don't start the clock. Why not? I mean, come on, guys.
Holy
Let's
cow,
get with the
clock
program.
did not run. And that put precious time back on the clock for Holyoke. John Bussinger threw the ball down and it stopped the clock, but I don't think it was started.
He's never started. He never wound the clock.
Oh, a costly mistake being made here by the referees, in our opinion. Now, we've got 4 seconds left to go. Ball is thrown. Cedric Washington in for the score. Cedric Washington in for the score with 4 seconds on the clock. The time has run out in this half, but it cannot end because we have to wait to see if they're going to put up the 1-point conversion or the 2-point conversion try. And I'll tell you, Frank, very, very costly for the Agawam Brownies.
Oh, big time. Holyoke on top 26-15 with either 1 or a 2-point conversion in their grasp. I attribute that touchdown strictly to the officials.
Boy, I'll tell you, that clock did not run, and it should have. Ball is pitched out to Cedric Washington. Washington throws the ball. Conversion no good. And that's where we stand at this half, Frank. That will do it here in the first half. The score, the Holyoke Purple Knights 26, the Agawam Brownies 15. We'll bring you back here in just a moment.
Tony had some drinks, a few joints, and got into a fatal accident tonight. Only he doesn't know it yet. Drugs make you forget. And if you forget how risky sex can be, you could catch the AIDS virus and not know it for months, even years. AIDS, another way drugs can kill.
Back here, Harmon Smith Field, after the first half, and quite an interesting first half. Holyoke on top 26-15 as we get set to start this second half, third quarter. Number 10, Brian Anderson, set to kick it away for the Brownies, Frank. And really, a couple of costly, errors, I'd have to say, on the part of the referee staff in this first half.
Big time errors. They should have started that clock. They didn't, and we're underway, and we'll talk about it later.
Picked up there by number 30, Juanito Rodriguez, gets to the outside. Oh, boy. Oh, did he pay for that one?
Had the boom lowered.
33, Brian Colby levels Juanito Rodriguez. Holyoke will have the ball to start out this second half, first and 10. Ball resting at about the 19-yard line.
Well, back to the referees. They didn't start the clock like they were supposed to. That put one of Holyoke's touchdowns up on the board, or he gave the opportunity to do it. I don't know. It's kind of a shaky situation right now.
Well, we can't dwell on it. Agawam certainly can ill afford any more mistakes. They've got to get on the board, stop Holyoke on some of its drives. 35, Cedric Washington keeps the legs moving before he's hit there by 78, Mike Poff. And it looks like Cedric Washington, Frank, is injured on that play.
Yeah, looks like he's down. He's reaching for an ankle or a knee there.
Oh, boy, that's always dangerous time. You hate like heck to see anything happen to
Looks like
any player on
looks
the
like he
field.
picked up a cramp. Leg cramp, right leg. They're pulling back the toes on that right leg, trying to stretch out the calf muscle a little bit.
Athletic trainer out there for Holyoke working.
Athletic trainer in the booth.
Me, yes. This our athletic trainer in the booth giving you what is exactly wrong with Cedric Washington.
He just wants a break. I need a rest.
Hey, give me a chance. Oh, no, I'll tell you, that's good to see. Cedric Washington up under his own power, not helped off the field. And anytime you get a player, Frank, that's not helped off the field, it's always a good sign. So on the 6-yard pickup, 2nd down and 4 for the Holyoke Purple Knights now. 42, Joey Reyes in the game in the backfield for Holyoke. John Bussinger hands off right to 42. Joey Reyes breaks the tackle, gets to the outside, big pickup by Joey Reyes. He's finally brought down there by 33, Brian Colby, but not before. A first down picked up by Holyoke, ball resting at the 37-yard line.
That was a nice run by Holyoke. They're letting him get to the outside. You can't do that. You're going to have to contain him. You got to push him inside. Got to keep him between the sideline markers. Otherwise, they're going to bust this thing wide open, and I don't want to see that happen.
Well, I got to tell you, Frank, Holyoke blessed with some real good athletes in the backfield. Juanito Rodriguez, very speedy. Of course, Cedric Washington, a great cutback runner. He reads his blocks very well, as does, well, basically a Jason Vatsakis type player that can read the block. Only Cedric Washington maybe a little more flashy on the foot speed than Jason is. And then, of course, this kid that just came in, Joey Reyes, he's another good back for Holyoke.
Well, they've got a lot of people to go for. And we just got ourselves a procedure penalty against Holyoke that's going to be stepped off here, which is going to nullify that game.
John Bussinger, number 12, the quarterback, getting a gain for Holyoke, but it'll be brought back. It'll be 1st and 15 now with a 5-yard penalty, ball at the 31-yard line. If you just joined us, you're watching Agawam Sports Week. Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco giving you the play-by-play. You're watching the Agawam Brownies and the Holyoke Purple Knights. Holyoke 26-15 here in this second half. Joe Patel for the Agawam Brownies on the tackle number 34 on the short pickup by Joey Reyes. Pickup of, well, maybe 2 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 13 for the Holyoke Purple Knights. And the defense has to play real well here for Agawam. Hopefully they can stop Holyoke on this possession and then get the ball back and do some good things offensively.
Well, they're going to have to do something, Frank, because it's starting to get a little bit interesting here in regards to who's going to have the most possession.
85. Big catch by wait a minute, yes.
Yeah, he did catch that.
Oh, what a nice
one-handed.
Mark Babala, number 85. Really not much coverage on him coming out of that backfield. Great play by Mark Babala.
Nice one-handed catch as he reached out and was able to hamstring that thing and tuck it back underneath his arm before he hit the ground and hung out of it.
Well, he's one of the premier ends in this league in Western Mass, Mark Babala, and he came up through the younger football ranks, and here he is on the varsity squad now. Quite the football player, and one that Agawam is going to have to contend with here in this second half. With that completion to bring up 3rd down and 3 for Holyoke. Washington, Frank, gets the ball. He's also back into the game, obviously. Short pickup, hit there by 89, and a big tackle, Brian King, in there for the Agawam Brownies. Pickup of maybe 1 on the play. It's going to be 4th and 2 from the 45, and decision time for Holyoke.
4th and 2. Do you kick? Do you punt? Do you, throw a pass, take it out, do whatever? Kind of tough right now, but looks like they are going to punt the ball away.
They're going to punt it out of there. 35. getting set to do the punting source for Holyoke. Big booming kick by Cedric Washington. Taken there by 13, Dan Moriarty. Moriarty runs right. He's got some room to the outside. Moriarty, just taken out by Cedric Washington. Frank, this kid for Holyoke is everywhere. He's everywhere.
He's all over the place, and Dan Moriarty's limping a little bit right now. Looks like when he went into the bleachers there, he got tangled up a little bit.
Yeah, you can see it there, well, on a different camera angle, but he's been limping. There he is right there. He's favoring that left knee. Now he's going back in, and that's one of the things we talked about earlier, Frank. You've got your starting quarterback receiving punt returns and kickoff returns. Hey, those guys on the special teams of the other team know that you're the quarterback, and they're coming down your lanes, and they want to knock you out.
They want a piece.
Simple as that.
Definitely want a piece.
1st and 10 now for the Brownies at the 47. Pitched out to 44. Vatsakis plunges over the right side. Hit there by a host of Holyoke Purple Knights. Pick up of, maybe 4 on the play. Going to bring up 2nd down and 6. Brownie's going to have to do some different things offensively. Maybe try something in the form of a screen play, maybe a pass play, maybe an option play to try to get back into this ballgame. I don't think they're going to do it on the ground as much as I'd like to see Jason Vatsakis get the ball. I don't think that that's going to do it for him. I think they may have to go to the air here in the second half.
Well, they're going to have to do something because Jason is being kind of caught a little bit. He was able to squirt out there, pick up, looks like he did pick up the 1st down.
Well, he was stripped up by 75 Jim Wildman.
But that's the first time that Jason got a decent amount of yardage since about the 1st half.
Yeah, actually, Jason is getting the ball now here a little bit. Trying to get around the end. The person's dangerous coming up the middle. If you get a guy like Jason Vatsakis around the end, he really has deceptive speed. He's very, very fast. Matter of fact, the only one to catch him on that play there in the 1st half was Cedric Washington, who's got the speed to do it. Ball handed off to 38 Steve Lanier. Oh, nice play by Lanier as he's hit there by 35 Cedric Washington. But he picked up 7, Frank, 2nd and 3.
Well, that's what they've got to start doing. Matter of fact, they've got to probably put both of them, put Steve and Jason in the game, in the backfield, and keep them guessing. That gives the quarterback, also gives the coach the opportunity of swapping back and forth, and let one be a gopher, a decoy.
He's got 38 in there in the backfield. Why not let Vatsakis go out for maybe some short passing plays coming out of the backfield? Vatsakis there, he got hammered just a little bit, knocked off balance. Tripped up there by 85 Mark Zabala. Pick up of maybe 1. It's going to be 3rd down and 4 for the Agawam Brownies. And I think the Brownies are going to have to come up with something just a little bit different if they're going to catch up here.
Yeah, they're going to have to spring Jason to the outside. They're not going to run up the middle like they just tried there. The linebackers are just coming in and hammering him just as he crosses the line of scrimmage. It's not going to work. You're going to have to pop him to the outside or do the short 5, 6, 7-yard pass to get somebody with some different yardage.
You're not kidding. I'd like to see Jason Vatsakis coming out of the backfield for some pass. And there you go again.
There it is. That's the same thing.
Vatsakis. Just as you said, Frank, they're keying on Jason Vatsakis. He's stripped up there by 75 Jim Wildman and near 85 Zabala. And Patrick Leahy, number 50, also in on the play for Holyoke. So 4th down and 7. So the Brownies really squandering for a set of downs here.
Yeah, now they're going to have to go for a punt and see how they make out on that one. Hopefully they're going to be able to get it downfield far enough to put Holyoke down in their territory. But Mr. Anderson's going to have to really put a foot in to do it.
Brian Anderson set now to receive the ball. Agawam getting set to punt. Ball squirts underneath his feet. Anderson takes off to the sideline. Hey, Frank,
picks up a block. Hey, attaboy!
Ryan Anderson. He took it off up the left side, Frank. He went about 17 yards before he was tackled out of bounds there by number 63, Mickey Jones. But hey, some life pumped into the Brownies thanks to Brian Anderson.
A little bit of a busted play there. Tough snap from center. Brian wasn't able to quite hang on to it. Says, well, I ain't going to launch it from here, so I'm going to run it. I know they tried that last year and ended up losing a whole bunches of yards, but this year here and tonight, it worked for them. I wouldn't want to have it as a regular play, though.
I don't think, no, we certainly let our viewers know that was not a design play by the Agawam Brownies. First and 10 for Agawam, ball at the 28-yard line. Ball given to Vatsakis as it plunges his way off the right side. He's tackled there by a host of Purple Knights. Pick up of, well, maybe 3 yards, Frank, on the play. It's going to bring up second down and 7 for the 25. Moriarty coming back from the sideline with the play from the sideline. Looks like Lanier and 44 Jason Vatsakis in the backfield for the Brownies. Ball handed off to 44. Vatsakis goes up the middle. Tackled by number 70, John DeLude. Pickup of only a couple on the play. It's going to bring up third down and about 5 for the play.
John DeLude. Third down and about 5 for the Brownies.
Agawam's trying to do something a little bit different. They're trying to hammer the middle. I don't think they've got the meat up front with all the injuries, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but with all the injuries that Agawam does have, I don't think they're going to make positive yards up the middle.
Well, I really don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what type of plays are going to be shuffled in and out from the sideline. Moriarty now on the quarterback keeper tries to get to the outside. Number 70, John DeLude and company right there once again. Short pickup. It's going to bring up fourth. And I'd say, well, we'll have to see where the referee puts the ball, but it looks like about a yard, maybe less, for the first down for the Agawam Brownies.
Well, this far deep, I think Agawam's going to go for it. They need the points. They need the down.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Now, this is a play now where you want to give the ball to Jason Vatsakis coming out of the backfield on your short game. He's such a power runner. He's the type of guy who can take 2 or 3 players with you and still get the first down for Agawam.
Let's see what they call.
We're already at the line of scrimmage now. Holyoke digging in deep. Give off to Vatsakis. Hitting that backfield. Oh,
They knew it was coming.
oh, boy. And Vatsakis is angry. Oh, he rips off the face. He thinks that he is angry. He got swarmed there. Holyoke really keying in on the play. So another tough break for the Agawam Brownies as Holyoke will take over first and 10 at about the 20-yard line.
Well, they're deep, but they're, Holyoke is moving the ball quite well and has been since, toward the end of the first quarter, going into the second, they started to make some definite inroads into the Brownie defense.
So the Holyoke defense doing its job as the offense takes the field for the Purple Knights. John Bussinger hands off to Cedric Washington. Washington, no! Can't get away from Brian King and Brian Pellegrino. So a double team by the 2 Bryans for the Agawam Brownies, and that's the way you got to play defense against Cedric Washington.
You got to push them deep. You got to make.
You are right, Frank. And here's the buzzer, or the whistle, or the flag, whatever you want to call it, ending the third quarter with the score: Holyoke 26, Agawam 15. After the end of the third quarter, Holyoke on top 26-15. quarterback keeper gets to the right side. He's got some running room. Big play by John Bussinger. Finally knocked down there by number 1, Bob Kunkel. Frank, too much yardage for the defense.
Too much yardage for the quarterback. Quarterback keeper, he's running up 15, 18, 20 yards. You got to stop him before that point. You got to make him force the option if that's in fact the play that they're running. You got to make him do something, and you can't turn him loose. He's able to get around the outside. He just runs up the sidelines, and now your secondary and your pass protection is starting to shut him down. That's too deep.
First and 10 on the 42 for the Holyoke Purple Knights. Bussinger gets in there, and Bussinger and the quarterback sneak. Oh, caught the Brownies off guard there.
And a flag.
By 78, Mike Koff, and number 13, Jan Moriarty, Frank. And it looks like we've got some laundry on the field.
Yeah, it looks like possibly going to be an inadvertent face mask.
Yes, sir, you called it right. Inadvertent face mask. I didn't see who it was on, but it's going to be 5-yard penalty against the Agawam Brownies. So it'll be first and 10 for the Purple Knights on the 44-yard line.
Well, as you go through the line like that, if you're an stand-up runner, which the Holyoke quarterback is, you almost stand an excellent chance of getting your face grabbed.
No doubt about that. Holyoke now getting set to operate against the Agawam Brownies. Ball handed off to 35. Cedric Washington straight up the middle. Tripped up there by number 39, Derek Parker, who's into the game for the Agawam Brownies.
Number 39, Derek Parker.
And someone on the ground there for Agawam, Frank. I can't quite tell who it is, or excuse me, for Holyoke.
Timeout of the field, official timeout.
So an official timeout for the Holyoke Knights as the athletic trainer set to come out and take a look at this injury. Just a reminder, Agawam going out on top in this contest early. Coming out on fire, doing some good things defensively, certainly some good things offensively. 87-yard run back by Jason Vatsekis on the opening kickoff, and then the 2-yard plunge by Vatsekis to put Agawam up on top. And then, of course, the Moriarty to Bob Kunkel pass gave Agawam their second touchdown. And after that, Frank, it's pretty much been Holyoke.
All right, Holyoke's been able to take the offense to Agawam and almost has taken the defense to Agawam when Agawam had the ball. I think Agawam surprised Holyoke on the opening kickoff. I don't think they were expecting that well of a protection on the run back, and Jason was able to turn the Jets on once he crossed the 50-yard strike. And I think all of a sudden the coach says, hey guys, we're in a football game. These guys are not pushovers, and you better get with the program.
No doubt. I'm sure something like that of that nature may have been said. Second down now for the Purple Knights as they operate once again. Ball pitched out there to number 30, Juanito Rodriguez. Rodriguez has some room coming out for that left-hand side. Cuts back in, a couple of missed tackles. Another missed tackle, still on his feet. Number 30, Juanito Rodriguez. Frank, he's finally hit there by Mike Perry and Mike Kloss. But poor tackling by the Agawam Brownies results in a 22-yard run by Juanito Rodriguez.
Probably every rule that they've ever been taught was broken in that. You're not going to tackle anybody by trying to tackle them high. You got to hit him around the waist, slide down, wrap him up, and down he falls. And the kid's quick, yes he is. He does have some good hip movement. But if you're watching the hips, you know where he's going. He isn't going to head fake. He's not going to show.
35, Cedric Washington. Nice move. Oh, did he make some nice moves and a touchdown. No flags on the field. Holyoke, Cedric Washington with a big touchdown.
Very impressive. Cedric is basically the Holyoke offense. You stop Cedric, I think you stop the offense.
What a big play by Cedric Washington and Holyoke. Just about virtually untouched. We're down to 8:01 in this game. Holyoke on top 32-15, and it looks like Holyoke will go for the 2-point conversion on this try. And I'll tell you folks, I would only wish we had some instant replay to give you, because this kid is electric.
Oh, he's phenomenal. Utterly phenomenal.
Two-point conversion attempt, Frank, by number 42 on the give to Joey Reyes is good. And Holyoke widen its lead to 34-15. We'll be back right after this.
This is where I live. There are lots of doctors and machinists for me and the other kids. Last week, a guy named Mike came. He took us all on a camping trip.
Mike gives up a weekend a month to help a disabled child, but he gets back a feeling that lasts forever.
When I get better, you know what? I'm going to take Mike with me.
To find out what you can do in your community, call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Heal something real.
Back here, Harmon Smith Field. If you've just joined us once again, Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco giving you the play-by-play. You're watching Agawam Sports Week, the new season. And we want to welcome all our viewers to Channel 32 Continental Cable Vision.
I wish we were just opening up a little better game.
What?
Can't pick and choose, folks.
Certainly can. Cedric Washington for Holyoke set to do the kicking chores. Boy, I'll tell you, folks, if you missed Cedric Washington's performance here tonight, you've missed probably one of the premier backs in Western Mass. Taken by the upback, 75, Chris Benjamin. Hit there by a host of Purple Mike. And the Agawam Brownies will start out offensively once again. First and 10 from their own 36.
Let's see what kind of play configuration we can come up with now, Frank. We're going to have to come up with something that's going to have to be positive.
Well, I'd have to say, I mean, you know, you've only got one more quarter left. The Brownies are going to have to do something other than run right and run left. You know, I'd have to say that they'd have to go to the air at this point, being behind 34-15. And excuse me, we are in the last period. Pass across the middle, incomplete to Bob Kunkel. 22, Tremaine Langhorn on the coverage for the Holyoke Purple Mike. We'll bring up second down and 10. Not a bad crowd on hand here this evening.
Oh,
right?
good crowd.
Like
Nice
to see a little bit more, but not a bad crowd on the Agawam side whatsoever.
Good night for football.
Oh,
Now the boys are starting to heat up a little bit. You start to see their breath a little bit. Either that or the temperature's dropping. I can't tell. Nice and cozy where we are.
Not too bad. Moriarty back to pass now. Coverage breaks down. He's under heavy pressure. Avoids a couple tackles. Oh, boy, that was a tough one. Oh, he threw right into number 35, Cedric Washington. And there goes the Agawam threat once again. Moriarty, the key to that, Frank, Moriarty was under heavy pressure by the Holyoke defenders.
Yes, he was. It's a tough decision. A, do you unload it? B, do you throw it away? And if you're going to throw it away, really throw it away. If you had a receiver there, he could have launched that sucker up into the fifth row of the bleachers and got away with it.
Oh, sure.
But, you know, as it stands right now, he ended up with an interception. And the INTs you don't need.
Oh, sure you don't. So Holyoke set to operate now once again here in this fourth quarter. First and 10. Ball at about the 43-yard line. Handed off there to number 42, Joey Reyes. He was stacked up by number 89, Brian King. Pickup of maybe a yard, maybe two. We'll call it second down and 8 for the Holyoke Purple Knights. And Frank, we'd like to say, you know, for our third season here, we hope to see a lot of people out here during these home games. Come out, bring the family. Hey, it's a nice night out here. They got a heck of a concession stand out here.
There's a place that you won't go home hungry.
No, you certainly
guarantee you that.
Quarterback keeper by John Bussinger gets to the outside. Boy, he's got some quick feet. Tackle here by a host of Brownies. Going to bring up third down. He's dangerous coming out of the backfield on that quarterback keeper.
Yeah, it gives him a hit. He runs that keeper, but it looks like it's almost like an option because he's got someone that's running with him. He can give it up if he wants to. The last two plays that we've seen him keep it on has been for some real serious yards. We're talking 8, 10, 12 yards on the carry. And that's an impressive amount of yards to throw down.
Well, it makes for another dimension. You've got such a good backfield as Holyoke does, and then you've got a mobile quarterback who can not only throw, but run. Boy, it sets up a very potent backfield. 30, Juanito Rodriguez once again gets to the outside and cuts back in. Oh, what a big play by number 30, Juanito Rodriguez. And once again, tackled there by number 60. Frank, we tried to get number 60's name at the half. We're unsuccessful. For that, we apologize.
Well, we'll make up for it next week.
Yes, we will.
Somehow.
Yes, we'll have two players that we don't know whose names. Right. We had some laundry on the field there also, Frank, while we were gabbing.
Okay.
And that's going to be a holding call against Holyoke, and that's going to negate that nice run by Rodriguez. So a break for the Agawam Brownies, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 14 now with that added penalty to the Purple Knights. Now this sets up I would say a passing down for Holyoke, if they elect to do so.
Well, with the quarterback being as mobile as he is, they could fake it and run it.
They certainly
But
could.
I would tend to say they're going to pass.
John Bussinger now looking over the defense, back to pass, got decent protection, airs the ball out, whoa, in and out of the hands of 42, Joey Reyes. The pass may be a bit too high. In any event, that'll bring up 4th down and 14. And a punting situation for Holyoke, so Agawam will have a chance to get the ball back.
Well, they're going to have to get the ball back more than once, Frank. They're going to need it back about 6 times. And I don't think we've got enough time on the clock for that to happen.
No, well,
could be wrong, but...
Well, Agawam needs a couple of breaks. There's no doubt about on this possession, they must hold on to the ball and they must score. Cedric Washington set to kick the ball. Somebody calling a timeout. Couldn't tell who it was. In any event, a timeout being called on the field. So we're going to take a break and bring you back here with the score. Holyoke 34 and Agawam 15. Since that new just joined us, you're watching the Agawam Brownies doing battle against the Holyoke Purple Knights. Holyoke on top right now, 34-15, on a very potent offensive weapon, or I should say weapons, Cedric Washington and Juanito Rodriguez. John Bussinger for sure, the quarterback for Holyoke. Cedric Washington gets a good punt away and taken there on a fair catch. Moriarty looked up and saw nothing but a purple wave and decided to do the next best thing to surrender, which is fair catch.
Discretion.
Agawam will have the ball once again, 1st and 10 now, at about the 29-yard line. Its own 29-yard line. Not much time to operate, but certainly plenty of time to get on the scoreboard and try to make this thing interesting.
They're going to have to put some points up there because this is what this team needs. They need the upliftingness of a touchdown. And then I think you'll see these guys come out firing.
Well, certainly now is the change, I would have to say, in their offensive strategy. They will have to go to the air as they do right there. Pass incomplete. And that was because of the heavy pressure on the linebacker blitz by Holyoke. Not much coverage there by Holyoke, but they didn't need it. And we've got a penalty on the field, Frank, and I think that's going to be an illegal procedure call against the Brownies.
Would that have been a dead ball foul? Play shouldn't even have gone on.
An illegal procedure call against the Brownies, and Holyoke, I'm sure, will decline this penalty. Now we'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 situation from the 29-yard line. There it is right there, as you said. A decline right there. So 2nd down for the Agawam Brownies. An illegal procedure call, certainly declined by Holyoke. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10 from the 29-yard line.
I'll see what Dan Moriarty here, what Coach Vic wants to do, and we've got another stoppage of play here, or a whistle, I should say.
Yes, the referee whistle. Number 55 pointing toward Agawam. I didn't see a flag. Why they are pointing, I don't know.
Neither does Coach Vic.
Yes, he's on the sideline saying, what did we do? We're up here saying, what did we do? Players are down there saying, what did we do? And the referees don't know what they did.
Well, I think what they did is they called a dead ball. There should have been a whistle before the ball was snapped, and I think that's what Coach Vicarelli's talking about. They let the play resume on a procedure call, which is an immediate whistle. Isn't it?
You said it, so you got to stand by it. Moriarty on the screen to Vatsakis. He's got a little bit of running room, and whoa! Whoa, was he crushed down by number 50, Patrick Leahy.
That, dangles very closely on abusiveness.
Wow. Well, number 50, Patrick Leahy, had Vatsakis in his hands and said, you're not going to get away from me. And he threw him down on the ground. A 1-yard loss will bring up 3rd down and 11 from the 28-yard line for the Agawam Brownies. And what this does, Frank, with not much time left in the 4th quarter, and Agawam being down 34-15, it pretty much relegates the Agawam offense to going to the air.
Well, they're going to have to air this thing out, air it out positively. And that's not a positive air out.
Not really. 33, Brian Colby, tried to reach that errant pass by the Agawam quarterback, number 30, Juanito Rodriguez on the coverage. So that's going to bring up 4th down and 11 from the 28 for the Agawam Brownies. Number 10 in the game, Brian Anderson, getting set to kick the ball. Cedric Washington and Juanito Rodriguez back deep for the Holyoke Purple Knights. What a big boot by Brian Anderson, and the ball just rolls out of bounds, takes a Brownie roll. Frank, we're down to 4 minutes and 27 seconds to go in this contest. Holyoke on top 34-15. Holyoke will have the ball one more time, 1st and 10.
Well, seems like Holyoke, every time they come up with a ball, they've been able to do something positive. Hopefully the Brownie defense is going to make that positive into a negative. And that's what they've got to do. Sounds like a thunder and lightning storm, huh?
Yes, it does. But it works.
Well.
And Holyoke making some substitutions, Frank.
Looks like the coach is starting to put in some of his less experienced players. When you got a lead like you've got, you might as well play the guys that normally don't get a chance to play. I mean, that's part of the game.
Certainly. 21 in there for the Holyoke Purple Knights. Gives off to 26, Florencio Neves. And that's the first time we've seen him tonight. He's tackled by a host of Brownies. Short pickup will bring up 2nd down for the Holyoke Purple Knights. Agawam starting off strong in this game. Offense doing a very good job in the first half. A couple of key breaks going Holyoke's way. And a very good Holyoke defense and a very potent offense against a weak Agawam defense is the difference here in this game. Nice pickup on the give and go.
Also.
36, Jonathan McKissick on the run. Hit there by 56, Mike Perry. Also 83, Brian Pellegrino on the stop. That's going to bring up 3rd down for the Holyoke Purple Knights.
That was a very, very quick handoff from the quarterback to the tailback. He hit the line. He was almost wide open when he hit the line.
Well, a good burst of speed by the Holyoke backfield and a very good play off the left-hand side, off that Brownie defensive side. And 3rd down. Ball handed off. Some trouble in the middle on the handoff, Frank. And the running back, 36, Jonathan McKissick, I don't know if he ever got the ball, but that's an Agawam Brownie turnover, and I'm not sure who got it.
Kind of tough. You had so many white shirts down the bottom of the pile, you don't know who was able to grab it, or if, in fact, how it was even stripped.
So I'm not sure who got the ball. In any event, Frank, it's going to be Agawam ball, and it would be nice if Agawam could get here and get a score. Then what they would have to do, barring they got a very quick score, probably an onside kick and hope for the recovery.
They got to do something. Timeout being called by Agawam right now.
Yeah, timeout. David Curley in the game for the Agawam Brownies, and then comes to the sideline.
Don't think they had enough bodies on the field. Dave counted heads, saw he didn't like what he saw. He said, we're too short.
Yes, somebody did not like something. Bob Kunkel reported into the game just there on your screen. David Curley still to the outside. Now they make some more shifts. Brian Pellegrino going out.
Looks like they're doing some wholesale changing here.
Yes, in and out. Now David Curley comes back out onto the field. If you just joined us, folks, we are in the fourth quarter. Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco. You're watching Agawam Sports Week. This our first game of our third season to start our season. And the Holyoke Purple Knights on top 34-15 here at Harmon Smith Field. Curley on the handoff. Marty Giroux in the backfield for the Agawam Brownies. Hit there by 63, Mickey Jones. That's going to bring up second down for the Agawam Brownies. Frank, Marty Giroux coming into this game. Bob Magistri getting hurt, and Marty Giroux stepping in and doing a very good job. I heard from the coaching staff that all week that Marty Giroux playing with a lot of intensity and really deserves to be in there.
Well, you take a player who hasn't played very much, and all of a sudden you expose him to this environment. He's going to play hard. He's going to give you 100%. He's going to do his best to be as positive a motivator as he can because he has the opportunity. And that's the biggest thing, I think, is that if you give a player the opportunity, he's going to do well for you.
That pitch to number 43, Marty Giroux, as Holyoke was all over him, led by number 85, Mark Gabala. So a passing situation once again for the Agawam Brownies on the loss. It'll bring up third down and 11 for Dave Curley and the offensive unit of the Brownies. Agawam making some wholesale substitutions, trying to get as many players in and out of the game as they can here late in this fourth quarter. And actually, it's good to give some of these kids some experience. Hey, these guys work hard in practice. They want to be out there also. And it's good experience as we get down. You know, later on in the season, maybe you may have to depend on a Dave Curley to come in. You never know what could happen. So you've got to get these kids some playing experience.
Well, it's all very important, Frank, and it all goes together because you're in a situation where somebody can get hurt. Prime example is you got Dan Moriarty, who's doing some strange things with the offensive quarterback.
Dave Curley back to pass. Nice spiral on the pass. I don't know who he was going for, but I know we've got a penalty down near the line of scrimmage, and that can usually mean one thing. That could be an illegal procedure call against the Brownies, and that's what it is. So Dave Curley's pass, no good. A penalty and a legal procedure call. And I would have to say that'll be declined by Holyoke, and that will bring up fourth down and 11 for Agawam. Now, Agawam certainly not going to punt out of this situation here. Anderson not on the field. Agawam is going to go for this, Frank, on 4th and 11.
Yeah, they have no choice. There isn't enough time to really play around with. If we can make the yardage, we make the yardage. If we don't make the yardage, we let the defense handle what they have to handle and hopefully contain Holyoke so they don't put any additional points on the board. Have to see how they make out.
Well, 4th and 11, Dave Curley and company coming up to the offensive line, or I should say the line of scrimmage. Curley back to pass. He's under a little bit of pressure. Overthrows number 28, Tom Gage. Tom Gage. 2 minutes, 8 seconds to go, Frank, in this contest, and Holyoke will take over. And for all intents and purposes, that would have to definitely be the ball game, as Holyoke right now will probably just run the clock out.
Well, they're going to do something. I would say Holyoke is going to do the same thing Agawam has done. They're going to do some wholesale substitution, put a lot of brand-new faces in there, players who don't normally play, give them the opportunity, give them the experience of being in a game, let them get hit, and see what they can do. And the coach is going to do the same thing that Vicarelli does. Hey, if you don't expose these guys to this environment of a football game, come times that they actually need it, then you can develop a cage of stage fright.
You're certainly right. Holyoke set to operate now. Ball handed off. Nice move there by number 44, Matt Scanlon. And he's tackled there by number 56, Mike Perry. That'll bring up second down for the Holyoke Purple Knights. Crowd here at Harmon Smith Field still sticking around, Frank. I haven't seen anybody make their way to the exit gates quite yet.
No, everybody's pretty much hanging around. It's a good night, like you said. You know, the concession stand's closed. I'm sorry.
No,
I wanted
a lot of
another
good
hot
that
dog. Only got one this game. Got to get more than one to a customer.
Certainly got to do our customary 2 to 3
At least
during these fall games. Ball handed off to 34, Brendan Dunn for Holyoke. Tackled there by a host of Brownies. It's going to bring up third down. Holyoke on top here late, very late in this third quarter. If you just joined us, 34 to Agawam's 15 in a well-played game for Holyoke.
basically Holyoke's all they're doing right now is just kind of eat up the clock.
Oh, sure. 21 on the keeper, Ryan Sheehan, gets to the outside, and he's run out of bounds. Good play by Sheehan as he gets to the outside to stop the clock. We've got 47 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. So Holyoke faced 4th and 3. I'm sure not looking to go for the first down as they are to get out of the game and end this thing.
I think they just want to basically, give them the experience to play it. I don't think they're really too concerned about running the points up right now. I just think that they just want to give as many players the opportunity of getting in the game.
Ball handed off to 44, Matt Scanlon. Once again, tackled by a host of Brownies.
Group loads.
Yes, truckloads of Brownies. And that's going to be close depending upon where they mark the progress of running back Matt Scanlon. We could be very close. Officials calling for a timeout, Frank. They bring the markers out. And it looks like it may be enough for a first down. They're pulling the chain tight.
Just made it by a nose.
Made it, yeah, by a ball stripe. So Holyoke will have the first down on the measurement. Will be 1st and 10. And we probably have enough of time here for one more play. So Ryan Sheehan brings the Holyoke Purple Knights to what could definitely be the last play of the game. Gives off Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco. We're at Bullens Field in Westfield where the Agawam Brownies taking on the Westfield Bombers. Frank, this is a key matchup in the AA conference.
Oh, it seems like every one is a key matchup, Frank. Agawam definitely has to come out and do something, and we're not sure exactly what they're going to do, but they've got to do something. Tonight is a contest that they must win. If nothing else, at least tie. They cannot afford a loss. They've got to come up with some positive efforts. They've got to try to put more into this particular contest than what they have in the past. Westfield's running 3-0 or 4-0. I'm not really sure.
Well, right now, Westfield undefeated in the AA, Frank. So a positive effort has to take place for the Agawam Brownies this evening. We talked about some injuries last week. This week, the injury's still there. But a positive note for the Brownies, 300-pound Jason Rossi back in the lineup.
That's going to be a big lift for Agawam. And as we got here earlier, number 72, and I hate to say it, my son is out. He's not going to be playing this game tonight. He's got a hurt limb. The coaching staff decided not to run him, and he tried to do the warm-ups and was not too successful. and it's a shame, but that's one of the contests. So now they picked up one, they lost one.
Well, it always seems to happen to Agawam. With that, while the Westfield marching band comes out onto the field, we'll pause for this message, and we'll bring you right back here in just a moment. He pays as we await the toss of the coin to see who will go on the offense and who will go on the defense. And it looks like Westfield may have won the toss. They have, Frank. Westfield will win the toss. Agawam will get set to kick off. Of course, number 10 with the big foot for the Brownies.
Hi, Mr. Anderson.
Yes, sir.
Didn't get too much work out the other day.
No. No, not really.
Will be played by the Westfield High School Marching Band under the directorship of Mr.
The Westfield Marching Band. We're just about set to go. I want to remind you, you're watching Agawam Sports Week. Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco, Continental's Channel 32. You get set to do battle. Agawam Brownies, Westfield Bombers. Bombers at this point, like we said earlier, undefeated. Brownies standing at 1-2. Frank, need the key victory here tonight.
Oh, everybody needs the victory. The Bombers want to stay on top. The Agawam wants to try to shut them down, as we've just alluded to. And we're just going to have to see how much heart is in both clubs, because I think it's going to be hard. Agawam is playing with some injured players. The Bombers are relatively healthy, so it all boils down to is how bad you want it.
You're probably right, and I think at this point the Brownies, well, probably disappointed. Their season not going as planned in the beginning. A lot of healthy players, some big players for the Agawam Brownies, one of the biggest offensive lines in the league at this point. And some key injuries have hurt them, so they're certainly not where they want to be at this point at 1-2. A real big crushing loss to Holyoke last week, and then, of course, the big loss to Chicopee, scoring 30 points on the board. Not bad for your offense. How many times do you score 30 points and lose a ball game?
Well, I think with the Chicopee game, the offense just flat ran out of gas. Okay, you can't run both ways. Iron Man football just doesn't exist anymore in this particular league. You've got enough players. You got to play an offensive line, defensive line, and you just got to work it that way. And we're underway, Frank.
Yeah, we are. 27 takes the ball for Westfield. Greg Bubalacqua, a very dangerous runner, running up the middle, but he just got hammered there by the special teams of the Agawam Brownies. Referee unpiling the tangle of bodies. Ball spotted at about the 26-yard line. Westfield will take over 1st and 10 from the 26. Westfield has a pretty good offensive punch, Frank, in quarterback Dan Chisholm. He likes to run the ball, or give the ball, I should say, to Greg Bubalacqua. And that's a very good key matchup here to watch for this evening.
Well, it should be interesting. It's also like the thing with Jason Vatsakis. Everybody's going to start keying on Jason. Everybody's going to start keying on Mr. Bubalacqua here. And he shut him down.
Ball was handed off to 27, Greg Bubalacqua. Tackled on the play there by Chris Benjamin, number 49. Also in on the stop for the Brownies, 56, Mike Perry. Gain of maybe 3 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7. Ball at the 29-yard line.
And 7 for the Bombers.
Dan Chisholm now looking over the Agawam Brownie defensive front, getting set to call the numbers from the line of scrimmage. Hands off to number 21, Mark Hermans. Hermans hit there by number 38, Steve Lanier. Pickup of 3 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4 from the 32-yard line.
It's different to see Westfield go to a different running back on that play, Frank. Keeps everybody guessing.
Well, 21 Mark Hermans is certainly not a bad running back by any means. That's a big 1-2 punch in the backfield with number 27, Greg Bubalacqua, and Mark Hermans. And I think Agawam has got to watch out for the outside threat to 87, Tony Bivens. And right there, big catch by Bivens. Boy, I'll tell you, no sooner than I said it, than a nice strike from Chisholm to Bivens. Tackle there by 56, Mike Perry. Brian Pellegrino on the stop, and also Chris DeMastri, number 60. And I found out from last week who was number 60, by the way.
Who was 60?
Matt DeMastri, thanks to Mr. Disco.
Okay.
First down for the Bombers. They'll operate at about the 45-yard line, and the strike to number 87, Tony Bivens, from Dan Chisholm, number 15, quarterback for the Bombers. Bombers in motion now. Pitch to 27, Greg Bevilacqua. Hit there by 49, Chris Benjamin. He paid the price. And, Frank, that's going to be a loss on the play of about a yard. It's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
Well, like I said earlier, everybody's going to start keying on Mr. Bevilacqua, and that's what's going to happen. They're going to see which way he's going, flood that side, and shut him down.
Well, it's pretty much the way you have to play when you're playing up against somebody like the Agawam running back.
Oh, yeah.
We all know who that is in this league.
Yeah. Mr. Jason.
2nd and 11 for the Bombers. Back to pass is Chisholm. Chisholm in the air. Big catch once again by Tony Bivens. Boy, you've got to watch out for him. I'll tell you, the Brownies not keying on that.
Mike Perry made the start for the Brownies.
What a big play by the Agawam Brownies.
No, by Westfield.
Well, we'll say Westfield, and Agawam made the stop.
Big stop by Agawam. That could have gone for TD time.
That pass, Frank, to 27, Greg Bevilacqua, my mistake. It's going to bring up 1st and 10 for the Bombers. Back to pass is Chisholm. He's under heavy pressure. He rolls to the left and complete. Once again, the 27, Greg Bevilacqua, coming out of the backfield. Stopped there by 49, Chris Benjamin. Short pickup of maybe 2. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 8.
But what that's doing is keeping Agawam guessing. Is he going to run? Is he going to pitch? Or is he going to pass?
Gain him a couple of yards.
I mean, that's the type of offense that Westfield's starting to show Agawam. And Agawam's going to have to adjust. Do you rush him? Do you hold back? The linebackers. Do you go in? Do you stay out?
Well, that's something that Agawam hopefully can get prepared for in this game defensively. And we talked about Agawam's offense. We think that they should change up their offense too, and they may do that too. Greg Bevilacqua trying to get to the right side, tripped up there by number 89, Brian King and 43, Marty Giroux. So trying to turn a corner, pick up a 4. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 4. All at about the 28-yard line of the Agawam Brownies.
Ball inside the Agawam 30 at about the 27-yard line. 28.
So 3rd and 4 from the 28 for Westfield. Mixing up some running plays and passing plays. So some good offensive calling by the coaching staff of Westfield. Handed off to Mark Hermans. Hermans tries the right side of the Brownie line, and nothing going as he was stopped there by 89, Brian King. Pick up a maybe 2 on the play. That's going to bring up a 4th and 2 from the 26-yard line for Westfield. Down to 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go here in the first quarter. No score at Bullens Field. You're watching Agawam Sports Week. Westfield's going to call a timeout. So with their timeout, we'll taking a timeout. They're faced with a 4th and 2 at the Brownie 26-yard line. Moving the ball pretty well, Frank.
Oh, yeah, Westfield's doing fantastic right now against the Brownie defense. I think what's happening right at the moment is Mr. Rossi is just starting to get involved here a little bit.
Well, I think that's going to take a little bit of time. Of course, he was out for a while, right?
You know, so you got to get hit a few times. You got to feel your oats a few times. You got to say, "Oh, I'm tired of this." Okay.
So the Bombers now back after the timeout. 4th down and 2 at the Brownie 26.
4th down Bombers.
Brownies have got to watch out for Dan Chisholm, who likes to go to Greg Bevilacqua, 87, Tony Bivens. So they'll have to be prepared in that secondary for the pass. Chisholm back to pass. Oh! Almost picked off by 33, Brian Colby. Or no, that was tipped, 83, Brian Pellegrino tipped that pass.
Yeah.
for the Brownies.
So the Brownies, Frank, will have the ball they held on 4th and 2. They're going to have it 1st and 10, ball at the 26.
Oh, it's better to knock it down and try and go for the interception. And even though he did attempt the interception, I think he would have been tackled with, not as much yardage as what they gained by letting them pick it up 1st and 10.
No doubt about it. So here, the first time the Agawam offense taking the field and see what they can do. Number 1 in motion, Bob Kunkel, and back to pass. No, out of the reach to Pellegrino.
Pellegrino is incomplete.
So the incomplete pass will bring up 2nd down and 10 from the 26. Agawam starting out with the pass. Now, we haven't seen that in 3 games.
No, most of the time they start out with a run to the right with Jason.
I think maybe
this is interesting right now.
Well, I think what they've done, it looks like they may have changed up their offense just a little bit. And I think that could confuse Westfield. Westfield probably preparing for Jason Vatsakis all week. Now, Agawam comes out with a pass, and they're showing them a little bit different offense. 2nd down and 10, run by Jason Vatsakis, number 44. Stopped there by number 68, Mr. Donahue.
2nd and 7.
3 yards gained on the play will bring up 3rd and 7 from the 29. So Agawam starting out with the pass and then going to their bread and butter, Jason Vatsakis.
Well, hey, that mixes it up. That keeps everybody guessing. You scouted a team and all you see is run. And then all of a sudden your first shot out of the barrel, pass. Where'd they come with that one?
3rd and 7 for the Agawam Brownies now in their own territory. Back to pass. Moriarty across the middle. Complete to number 1, Bob Kunkel. Hit there by 87, Tony Bivens. Also in on the tackle, number 15, Dan Chisholm. It's a 1st down for the Agawam Brownies.
Yeah, first plus a whole bunch. Looks like he gained an additional 10 in regards to the 7 that he needed for the 1st down. Looks like about a 17, 18-yard pickup on that play.
Boy, what a nice pass from Moriarty to Bob Kunkel. So obviously the Agawam offense throwing something a little bit different.
Oh, they're giving Westfield a totally different offense to look at than what probably they scouted.
Brownies now 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Back to pass once again. Moriarty, he airs it. Long pass. Oh, through and intercepted by number 15, Dan Chisholm. Here he comes and tackled by 44, Jason Vatsakis.
Well, nice interception. But that's out of the 4 plays that Agawam ran, 3 of them were pass plays.
So 2 out of the 3.
Hey, it's a different offense.
Yes, it is. Some things happen. I don't know how long that the Brownies had to practice this different type of offensive setup. Obviously, a couple of days, you may be just a little bit rusty when you're learning that new offense. So the Bombers will take over now, 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Dan Chisholm looking over the Agawam defense.
Dan Chisholm at quarterback.
Ball handed off to 21, Mark Hermans. And he's hit there right away by number 60, Chris DeMastri, and number 77, Big Jason Rossi, Frank. In the middle, no gain.
Like I said, you hit me once, you hit me twice. No, you're not going to hit me a 3rd time. Okay.
Well, it's kind of tough to hit 300-pound Jason Rossi and move him back. He's pretty much a fixture there in that middle, and you're not going to move him.
No, he's owns a piece of real estate.
I don't think so.
Away.
2nd and 10 now after the no gain by the Bombers. Dan Chisholm on the fake. Back to pass across the middle. Complete to 87, Tony Bivens.
Nice reception. The quarterback for the Bombers here is starting to work over the secondary of Agawam, and they're going to have to adjust.
Yes,
I'm not sure if they were aware of all this aerial attack.
Oh, they will. Tackle made there by 43, Marty Giroux, after the Bivens reception. Of course, we learned earlier, Frank, that Dan Chisholm, number 15, and number 87, Tony Bivens, they went to a camp, I believe. I don't know if it was during the off-season or during the season, just practicing these passing plays, and I think it's helped out quite a bit for both of them.
Oh, if you take the quarterback and your wide receiver and you put them together in a school for 8 or 10 weeks, it's got to help.
Certainly. 1st and 10 now from the 40. Chisholm back to pass. He airs the ball long and complete to Tony Bivens once again. tackle there by number 12, Bobby Magistri. Boy, I'll tell you.
Dangerous, dangerous combination. They're going to have to put a man on him. They're going to have to watch him almost all night long. Otherwise, you're going to pick the secondary and your deep receivers totally apart.
Boy, they've got to make some changes in that secondary because Tony Bivens and Chisholm really working over the Brownies now. 1st and goal. The refs have spotted the ball at about the 5-yard line. Ball pitched to Bevilacqua, hammered there right away by 49, Chris Benjamin. That is some tough defense shown there by the Agawam Brownies, and that's going to be a loss on the play, Frank, of 2.
Well, you get down into that no man's territory, you're definitely not going to want to try and do much against Agawam because they will do what they just did. They'll throw you for a loss. And if you want the TD, you're going to have to put a lot of desire and a lot of heart, and 100% isn't going to get it. You're going to need 110 or 115%.
Well, I think what the Brownies got to watch out now for is the pass. They've shown already that they can pass, and they've got to be prepared for it. And here it comes, Dan Chisholm, wide open in the corner of the end zone. 87, Tony Bivens, touchdown, Westfield. So just that quick, and we're at 1 minute and 42 seconds to go here in this first quarter. Westfield taking a 6-0 lead on the reception by Tony Bivens, and the passing has been really good here thus far.
That looks like college ball, the way they're throwing it around here. They haven't kept it on the ground, I think, for about maybe 5-6 plays between both teams. Everybody's going after the, the aerial work.
Jason O'Connor now set to go for the point after attempt. The ball is up and splits the uprights. So after O'Connor's kick and the Westfield Tony Bivens catch, the Bombers on top of the Brownies at the moment, 7-0. So I want to remind you, if you've just joined us, you're watching Agawam Sports Week. Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco. We are at Bullens Field for an away game. Westfield Bombers, Agawam Brownies, where Westfield on top 7-0 on the Dan Chisholm strike to number 87, Tony Bivens. And I think the coaching staff, Frank, at this point, I'm sure they're talking to the Brownies and the secondary. I think we're going to see some changes. I don't think you're going to see Agawam or Westfield maybe that wide open.
No, I think they're going to tighten it up a little bit now that they realize that they're going to be working the secondaries that much. I don't think Agawam's going to give them the opportunity of getting that open or that much time to make the pass. I think you're going to see a stronger pass rush.
Well, they're going to have to get it right in there on Dan Chisholm and maybe throw him off of his rhythm. And when you do that, that's going to change the complexity of this game quite a bit. Of course, Westfield, so far, on some of the stuff that they've run, they haven't really gained much in the middle against Agawam either. I don't think they're going to be that successful in that department tonight.
It's going to be interesting. We just got to see how the game progresses.
Jason O'Connor for the Westfield Bombers set the kick. Ball placed at the 40-yard line. Westfield on top, 7-0. Brownies waiting to get it back. We're waiting for the O'Connor kick, and here it comes. Ball banged out of there. Taken by the short back, 83, Brian Pellegrino. Pellegrino cuts right, comes up the sideline, and a big play by number 10, Jason O'Connor.
Pellegrino was the ball carrier brought down by Jason
Not
O'Connor.
much there after O'Connor.
No. Yeah, the goal line.
Not before he crosses.
So a big play by Jason O'Connor. Brownies will have the ball 1st and 10 at about the 49-yard line.
That was a nice run back and a nice stop finally by Mr. O'Connor because he was basically your last line of defense.
Well, you don't see it happen that often. Frank Westfield wants to take a timeout. We'll take a timeout. We'll bring you back here in just a moment. The score, Westfield Bombers 7, Agawam Brownies 0.
And who was that?
Good friend and new cameraman, Dan Shenefield. Dan, thanks for taking the time for stopping up here with us today.
You're welcome, guys.
So what do you think of the game so far, Dan?
Well, I think Agawam's got some work ahead of them.
They got a lot of work ahead of them, Danny.
Jason Vatsakis on the carry. Big play by Jason Vatsakis. Finally hit there by 66, John Buonaconti, but not before he rumbles for an Agawam first down. 1st and 10 at the Westfield 28. And Dan, what do you think about that?
First down, Brownies.
Speechless. He's speechless.
Caught him tongue-tied.
Ball is at the 28-yard line.
So Agawam's Jason Vatsakis now has the Brownies at the 28-yard line. Brownies set to go. Moriarty on the fake. Across the middle. Complete to Bob Kunkel. Big play by Kunkel. Stopped there by number 12, Jeremy Page.
Stop for the Bombers. Another first down for the Brownies.
First and 10. The ball, Frank, spotted at the Westfield 14, and the Brownies wasting no time in moving up the field.
Not at all. Looks like they're threatening here at the early moments of the second quarter. Excuse me.
First quarter.
First quarter. We still got 50 seconds to go on the clock. I thought we had already changed it there. I'm sorry.
Not yet.
Trying to
get ahead of ourselves?
Yeah, slightly.
Oh, we've done that before. First and 10, Brownies at the 14-yard line, knocking at Westfield's door. Handoff to 44, Vatsakis stuffs in the middle. And stopped there by 66, John Buonaconti. Frank, I don't think we're going to have enough of time to run another play before this first quarter runs out.
No, running play, keep it on the ground. The clock's just ticking away, and that's going to see what happens here. I think it's about ready to run out here.
Yeah, not much time left. I'll be surprised if they get a playoff here in this first quarter.
Seems like they time it. They come up to the line of scrimmage and the whistle blows.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I want to start going the other way.
Up to the line.
Moriarty bringing the troops up to the line of scrimmage now. Clock ticking away. 3, 2, 1. There it goes. And that's the end of the first quarter here at Bullens Field in Westfield. The score, the Westfield Bombers 7, Agawam Brownies nothing. We'll be back after this. Back here right now at Bullens Field after the first quarter ending. The Westfield Bombers on top 7-0 over the Agawam Brownies if you just joined us.
And Agawam is threatening.
Yes, they are. They are knocking at the door. We talked to you earlier with our good friend Dan Schoenfeld, who's in the booth. Dan, what did you think about that first quarter?
Well, I think Agawam had a tough first quarter, but I think they're coming out and they're ready to go.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, Frank.
No, not at all.
Thanks, Dan. Back to some live play now after that first quarter. The Brownies knocking at the door. They'll be faced with a second down and 6 from about the 10-yard line. Dan Moriarty set to go. Jason Vatsakis, the ever-dangerous Jason Vatsakis in the backfield for the Brownies. Bob Kunkel in motion to the right. Ball pitched out to 44. Vatsakis trying to get to the outside. Makes a nice move. Hit there by 27, Greg Babalakwa, and number 71, Ben Pack.
Nice cut to the outside there, Frank. Looks like he had enough room to get a body length over the goal line, but was just taken down on a nice picture tackle.
Certainly was. He did a good job getting to the outside. First and goal from about the 4-yard line. Brownies knocking at Westfield's door here. Westfield on top 7-0. Brownies trying to erase that lead with Dan Moriarty and the offense throwing a lot of different things here this evening. 44, Vatsakis on the carry, hit there by Ben Pack, 71. 33, Mike Stavanovich on the tackle. It's going to bring up second down for the Brownies.
Loss of the yards back to about the 4-yard line.
So it'll be interesting to see what they throw at this point, being this close to pay dirt. Will they keep it on the ground or opt to go in the air?
They're going to throw it. They got to throw it. They have to.
They got to do it. So we'll see what happens now. Moriarty looking over the defense, set to go. They're at about the Bomber 4-yard line. Fakes off and hands off once again to Jason Vatsakis. Vatsakis hit there by 33, Mike Stavanovich. Also in on the tackle, 27, Greg Babalakwa.
Jesus, I'm surprised they didn't do a little rollout to the side, just do a little flick pass. I don't know. Everybody's anticipating a run up the middle.
Well, Westfield
out wide.
Westfield's certainly looking for it in their defense. They're really looking for the run here. Brownies, as you say, might be right in trying to get something to the outside at this point. Moriarty now calling the numbers, set to go, in close to Westfield territory. Moriarty on a keeper, to the right, steps in the end zone. Brownie touchdown.
That's what I said. Take it out to the outside.
And they listened to you.
Oh, good. I hope they do.
Did you give them the signal from up here? Because they certainly did listen to you as the Brownies get on the scoreboard on the Moriarty keeper. And I'm looking for Mr. Anderson to come out onto the field. I'm not sure what they'll do. Will they go for the 1? Will they go for the 2? And I do not see Brian Anderson. No, there he is right there in the picture.
All right, Mr. Mort.
Yes, Morton Anderson. Set to go with the extra point attempt. Brownies will take the field. And very shortly, we could be tied here 7-all in a very important ball game for both clubs.
Anderson's kick, good.
Anderson kick is up and good, and we are tied here at Bullens Field. The Westfield Bombers 7 and the Agawam Brownies 7. Frank, very interesting contest.
Oh, yeah, and I'm quite sure Westfield's saying, what's going on? This is not supposed to be happening. Okay? This is not the game plan, folks. Agawam has played not a good game with Holyoke, didn't play a good game with Chicopee, and all of a sudden they're playing a team who was supposed to be good.
Oh, I think we're seeing a different offense too, Frank. We're seeing a bunch of kids out there taking the place of some injured players that are playing right now so far in this first quarter with a lot of heart. Agawam has had some tough times in its first 3 games. Well, of course, the first game being the win. The last 2 games, not a very good outing for the Agawam Brownies, and we're looking at a different, more balanced offensive attack by Agawam, and thus far it seems to be working.
Oh, yeah, you're looking at a lot of new players, like you said earlier. You're also looking with guys, I think who said, we've had enough. Let's play ball. Let's go.
So number 10, Brian Anderson set to kick off for the Agawam Brownies. After the Moriarty touchdown, we're tied up here at Bullens Field on a very nice Friday night game, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
Couldn't ask for a better night here for football. The kick is up. It is away, taken there by number 10, Jason O'Connor. O'Connor tries to get to the outside, and he just got hammered there by number 33, Brian Colby.
Well, they're waiting for him. They're not letting him come up the middle. The wedge didn't form, so needless to say, had no alternative but to eat some dirt.
I guess so. So Westfield will operate 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line after the Brian Colby stop.
Ball is on the 19-yard line.
We are at 7 apiece, both ball clubs vying to see who will come out on top in this contest. Brownies can ill afford a loss, another loss, Frank, in the division.
No, they've got to come up with something positive, like we said earlier. A loss here would be very dangerous.
Greg Babalacqua on the handoff, number 27. He just got hammered there by a host of Agawam Brownies. Pickup of maybe 3 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7 from the 22-yard line.
Gain of 3, it'll be 2nd and 7.
Going to be very interesting to see how the defense stacks up as this game goes on. Of course, it's no big secret that the Agawam Brownies are hurt on defense. Of course, earlier we talked about 72, Matt Disco being out, and that was before this game even started. Of course, getting back Jason Rossi, but it seems to be a 1-and-1. Lose 1, get 1, lose 1, get 1. So it'll be quite interesting to see how the Brownies vie. And there's a fumble, Frank. Number 15, Chisholm, set to go with the pass. And I think they're going to call that a recovery by number 89, Brian King.
Boy, I don't know. It sure looked like the quarterback's arm was in motion for a pass. And no, they're giving it back to Agawam.
Oh,
big lift.
What a big call going the Agawam Brownies' way. Westville fans are irate on this side of the field.
They'll be Agawam's first.
Oh, boy, they are going crazy.
Yeah, they're speaking rather harshly to the official.
Yes, they are. The official's not really listening, as they're probably used to it. So the Agawam Brownies on a key turnover on the fumble recovery by 89, Brian King, will operate 1st and 10 for Westfield, and Westfield wants a timeout. We're going to take a timeout with the score here at Bullens Field, Agawam 7 and Westfield 7.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Back here at Bullens Field, right? What was that?
Honey, I shrunk the kids.
What the heck was that all about?
Well,
I didn't expect that from you.
Well, that's all right.
Back here at Bullen Field, you're watching the Agawam Brownies do battle against the Westfield Bombers. Score tied up at 7 apiece. And Agawam on a key turnover on a fumble by Dan Chisholm, recovered by 89 Brian King. And the Agawam Brownies will operate 1st and 10 deep in Westfield territory. Brian King, big fumble recovery. Kunkel in motion. Moriarty back to pass. Across the middle, complete to number 83, Brian Pellegrino. Tackled there by 15, Dan Chisholm. Frank, good field position. 1st and goal at the 4.
Excellent field position. A lot of heart, a lot of desire. Mr. Pellegrino saying it's going to not be one of you or two of you. It's going to take 3 of you guys if you want to put me down.
So a big play by Brian Pellegrino. Agawam certainly mixing up its offense here this evening.
1st and goal.
1st and goal from the 4-yard line for the Brownies. The give to 44. Batsekis tries the center of that line, and he's stacked up by the Bombers. Maybe a yard on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd and goal from the 3.
That's tough yardage, Frank. What they basically got to do is they got to run the play that they ran with Dan Moriarty. Went up the right-hand side. He's got to come down to the left-hand side. Keep them guessing. Take it wide. You're not going to run through the middle of these guys. You're just not going to do it.
No, it's very tough. Bomber interior line, very, very tough off the get-go. Agawam should try something to the outside, maybe a little quick pass across the middle to confuse Westfield. And there's a quarterback sneak up the middle, and right in goes number 13, Dan Moriarty. Touchdown, Agawam Brownies.
And Mr. Moriarty looked like he hurt his ankle on that play as he went through the line. Left foot limping as he walked off the field, or hobbled off the field.
Well, hopefully not hurt at all. 6:03 to go here in this first half. Brownies take the lead 13-7. And that's got to be a big uplift for Agawam at this point. Key turnover on the fumble recovery by 89 Brian King. And a quarterback keeper up the middle by Dan Moriarty gets the Agawam touchdown. Brian Anderson will set to go with the point after attempt. Ball is kicked, ball is up, and point is good. And the Agawam Brownies now take the lead 14-7. And I'm going to go to our good friend in the booth here, Dan. What did you think of that play, Dan?
I thought they did an excellent play. Tonight we've seen that the Agawam team is set to go. If you give them just one little break, they're going to come back and they're going to stick it in your face.
And they've done just that, too.
Exactly. This is one of those rare occasions, and it's a hush on the Westfield side right now. They don't grasp what just happened. They see it, but they don't believe it.
And a big crowd on hand here, too, as you look at our camera. They are stacking this place for sure at Bullens Field to watch this Friday night contest. And they are in awe, or I should say shock right now, because they don't expect the Agawam Brownies to give them much of a tussle, but the Brownies on top right now, 14-7.
Now, they've got to come up with some points. And the way the defense is playing right now for Agawam, that could prove to be some interesting game plan in order to getting the turf to put the points on the board.
Well, Brian Anderson for the Agawam Brownies will get set to kick off to Westfield. Tony Bivens and O'Connor back deep. Also number 27, Greg Babalakwa for Westfield. So some speed getting set to receive this Anderson kick. Anderson now with the kick. And taken there by 27, Greg Babalakwa heads up the middle looking for a wedge, and Brownie special teams right there as they smothered number 27, Greg Bevilacqua. He wanted no part of the Agawam Brownies special team.
No, that's 6 against 2. The odds are not in Westfield's favor at that particular point.
1st and 10 for the Bombers, operating deep in their territory. And we'll have to see what happens with that Agawam defense if they can hold up to the task. We said earlier that Agawam, in order to win this game, would have to keep the Westfield offense off the field for as long as it could. Back to pass now, Chisholm, and heavy pressure by the Brownies, and hit there by some heavy pressure. 34, the freshman, Brian Menard, made that whole play happen, Frank.
Oh, yeah, he was able to get in and force a bad pass that just went kind of, you know, a birdie ball down the field, so to speak, and almost was intercepted in the process. But it was heavy pressure on the offensive line that forced the rush, that forced the incompleted pass. He was lucky to get it off.
He certainly was, and that's what the Brownies are going to have to do. Get some big pressure up front and force Dan Chisholm to go out of the way to get the ball to number 87, Tony Bivens. Throw him off of his game. 2nd down and 10 after the incompleted pass. Ball 27, Bevilacqua hit there by number 89, Brian King on the stop. Pick up a maybe 3 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and 7. And we've got ourselves a good ball game.
Oh, and how? Westfield, like I said, they don't believe what's happening over here. They don't understand what's going on. What happened to their offense? What's happened to their defense? They're down by 7. Why aren't they moving the ball? Different outlook that Agawam has is giving Westfield a different perspective.
Well, Agawam also throwing a different defense, too, out there, if you notice, giving Westfield something different to look at. Chisholm back to pass, and bang! Oh, he got hammered. He got hammered by 34, Brian Menard, just as he hit the ball, and that's why we've got an incomplete pass. There's that pressure again. He was going to 27, Greg Bevilacqua, and Brian Menard hammered him just as he released the ball.
Well, that's what we said earlier. I keep repeating myself here, and I don't mean to stutter, but...
Well, then stop.
I just can't help it. We said that they've got to be able to put the pressure on Bevilacqua so he can't get the ball off.
That's right.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, putting the pressure on Dan Chisholm certainly has thrown him off of his game, as the Bombers now faced 4th and 7 deep in their own end. Will have to get rid of the ball. Ball kicked up in the air. Nice kick by O'Connor, taken there by number 1, Bob Kunkel. Kunkel running to the outside, trying to get around that right-hand side. Does a good job. He broke a couple of tackles. Tackle there by 27, Greg Bevilacqua, who's also everywhere tonight.
It'll be Agawam's ball, 1st and 10.
Nice run back there. Picked up, looks like about 10 or 12 yards on a run back. Hey, that's more real estate that you don't have to worry about.
That's certainly right. They're going to have good field position as the ball is at the 47-yard line. So good things happening to the Agawam Brownies thus far. If you just joined us, the score, Agawam 14, Westfield 7, thanks to the touchdown on the keeper by Dan Moriarty. We are in the first half. Brownies operating 1st and 10 from the 47. Back to pass, Moriarty. Across the middle, complete to number 1, Bob Kunkel. Hit there by 33, Mike Stavanovich, but not before the Brownies pick up another 1st down. And the Agawam Brownies have got to be happy with the way their offense is operating thus far. Coaching staff certainly ecstatic. Over on the other side, we're down to 4:38 to go in the first half. And the Brownies really mixing up their offensive plays, more so than I've seen them in a long time.
Well, everybody knew that they had to come out with a different look, and that's exactly what they've done so far. They've shown Westfield plays that Westfield has no conception of where they came from. 1st
and 10 now, handoff to 44, Vatsekis. Stacked up there by 75, Matt Othier. Also went on the stop, 73, Kent Darby for Westfield.
Safety initial hit for the Bombers.
So that's going to bring up a 2nd down. Pick up, well, we'll say maybe 1 yard. Good Jason Rossi walking over to the huddle. So a big key for the Agawam Brownies to get him back offensively and defensively. I think that that's the big difference in the Brownies' interior line.
Oh, very possibly. And also, it's an uplifting factor that you've got a basically a big tree that's just standing there and say, come on, come on.
Oh, big penalty there, and that's going to be on 33, Brian Colby, I'm sure. That'll go as a 5-yard procedure call. Agawam's really first mistake, offense or defense.
Illegal procedure.
So a little bit enthusiasm on number 33, Brian Colby's part.
On that play, poor Jason Rossi took the brunt of it. He wasn't ready and ended up sitting there watching the play happen. No reflection on it by any means.
Oh, no.
State of imagination here. If you're off a half a count, you're dead. You're not waiting for it. He'll get even.
Second and 14.
So second down and 14 for the Agawam Brownies. Bob Kunkel in motion to the right, and Moriarty didn't like something. Somebody was not doing something. He looked at number 33, Brian Colby, and the Agawam Brownies, well, basically waste the time out here in this first half, and hopefully that won't come back to haunt them before the half is out. If you just joined us once again, you're watching Agawam Sports Week. We're at Bullens Field, where the Agawam Brownies on top 14-7. Westfield Bombers scoring first to open up the scoring 7-0 in the first quarter. The Brownies marching back on Dan Moriarty's keeper to the right, tying the score. And then a key play and a key fumble recovery by Brian Pellegrino put the Agawam Brownies deep in Westfield territory. Moriarty worked his way up, and then a keeper by Moriarty, and that's where we stand right now, 14-7 in favor of the Agawam Brownies. A good look at the Westfield cheerleading squad there for a moment on your screen. And the Brownies set to operate once again after this timeout. We'll go second down and 14. Moriarty looking over the defense once again. Bob Kunkel in motion to the right. Back to pass. Moriarty, oh, an unprotected 63. Mike Rasico came out of nowhere, and I'm sure a missed blocking assignment. He came in untouched.
Yeah, he just walked right smack dab through the middle of that line, Frank, and I don't know. Hi, here I am.
Certainly a big play by 63 Mike Rasico, bring up 3rd and 20 with the loss. So the Brownies will have to look to make up some key real estate here after the 63 sack by Mike Rasico.
It's going to take a big play and see what the coaching staff comes up with, what type of conversation they had on the sidelines. Seems like the timeout discussion didn't do anything for him.
I don't think so. The key to see what happens here with Moriarty. Will he go to the air? Will he go to the run on 3rd and 20? Gives to Jason Vatsekis. Oh, Vatsekis slipped up. He was tripped up there by 67 Andy Pack, and had it not been for Andy Pack, I think he could have went maybe the distance.
He had a big hole, had blockers out in front of him, and he was going to try to, put some get back a lot of the yards that they lost between the penalty and the sack.
Well,
but I don't think that he would have been able to pick up that much.
I'm not sure. I mean, he was running at full tilt. He had a pretty good hole made by that offensive line. He picked up maybe 3. It's going to bring up 4th down and 17, and Agawam calling a timeout as they want to talk about it. So with this timeout, we'll take a timeout. Bring you back here at Bullens Field with the score. The Agawam Brownies 14. The Westfield Bombers. Back to pass. Long ball. What an aerial ball. All through the hands of Dan Moriarty. And incomplete to, once again, 87, Tony Bivens. 3rd and 10 coming up for Westfield.
Yeah, that was almost like a Hail Mary pass. He had to come back to his right to try and pick it up. And he looked like he did an extra step to the inside before he made his turn.
Unbelievable.
We're getting some
What do you think, Dan?
here.
Dan, do you agree with this? You don't have much time to go on the clock. You're down by 7. Do you agree with these long passes that Westfield's doing right now?
Yes, they have got to get on the board before they go into the half break. And I think that's what Westfield's trying to do right here.
And there's a timeout, or not a timeout, going to be called, but well, actually, I think I saw someone say they wanted a timeout. 33, Mike Stavanovich with the run, hit there by 77, Jason Rossi. We've got 2 seconds to go in this first half. Brownies on top, 14-7. Westfield, in fact, calling a timeout. Dan, what can they do in 2 seconds?
They've got to go to the air. They've got to do it.
You know, we look for a lot of different things from this Westfield offense. Hey, one play, all it takes. We've seen Tony Bivens go long, Frank. He can hit him again. Chisholm's got the arm.
Oh, definitely. 2 seconds is enough to get a play off, and it doesn't give your the defense any chance to really come back with anything. And it's just going to see what happens. And I think he's going to throw up a Hail Mary pass just to
see what's what.
Just because. Kill it 2 seconds on the clock. If they make the touchdown, they got the chance for the point after. If they don't make the touchdown, the half is over. What have you got to lose? No,
exactly.
I say, what have you got to lose? If there is an infraction, then the half can't end.
Exactly.
So, have to see what he chooses.
So the Westfield coach now giving the play to 15, Dan Chisholm. 2 seconds to go on the clock. Brownies on top, 14-7 here in this first half. Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco and Dan Shenefield in the booth, who's come to visit us here this first half. We're waiting for the clocks. There it goes. Fast pass up across the middle. Broken up by 13. Dan Moriarty, Frank, to end this first half.
Well, he'd have been better off to break it up, do what he did, rather than try and make the interception, because what are you going to do with it?
You got it.
Knock it down, end the play, end the half. You're up on top by 7. Hey, let's get out of this thing. Let's go talk about the second half.
You got it. So we're going to talk about this first half with no time on the clock. That'll do it here. The score of the Brownies, 14, Westfield 7.
There are countries where bread is scarce.
Is history. Westfield getting set to kick off. Jason O'Connor, a very good first half for the Agawam Brownies. If you just joined us, you're watching Agawam Sports Week. Agawam Brownies, Westfield Bombers. Brownies on top, 14-7.
Very interesting first half, Frank.
No doubt about it. Taken there by Chris Benjamin. Benjamin up the middle. Hit hard by number 10, Jason O'Connor, and number 61, Dan Manelli. Also in there, 33, Mike Stavanovich. 1st and 10 for Westfield at the 40-yard line.
I wish I was a fly on the tree underneath where the Brownies were so that I could have heard what the coaching staff was telling them.
That would be very interesting.
Very interesting. Have to put a mic in his pocket.
I don't want to give you any ideas because you will do that.
Hide one on him.
1st and 10 for the Agawam Brownies, operating at the 40-yard line. In motion, Bob Kunkel. Ball handed off to Jason Vatsakis. Vatsakis trying to break a tackle. Hit there by Jeremy Pays, 67, Andy Pack. Pickup of about 3. 2nd and 7 from the 43. Dan, you're staying with us in the booth. You must like this game.
This is turning out to be a very good battle.
What do you see Agawam doing any differently in the second half that they maybe didn't do in the first?
Well, I think in the second half, they know what they've done right. They've got to stick with that, but they've got to put more points on the board. Westfield needs to come back, and they've got to come back quick, and that's what they're going to be doing.
Set to go now, 2nd and 7 from the 43. Moriarty pitches off to 44. Vatsakis trying to get to that outside. Stuffed there by Mike Stavanovich. Once again, Jason O'Connor in on the stop. 63, also Mike Rasico. And the referees looking like there was a penalty call, Frank, but I didn't see a flag.
I don't know. They're discussing something here.
63, Mike Rasico looking off to the side, giving us a motion call penalty, so he must have overheard something, and that's basically what we've got, illegal motion penalty, and that's going to be declined by Westfield.
I didn't see a flag.
No, I did not.
What's that, the phantom flag?
I think it was. 3rd and 5 after the penalty now at the 45-yard line. Moriarty now looking to pass. He's under heavy pressure, Frank. Tries to run up the middle and hit there by 67, Andy Pack. Moriarty doing a good job to avert a loss on that play. He picked up, well, only 2 yards on the play, but it's going to be 4th down for the Agawam Brownies, so they're going to have to give it away.
Well, they're going to have to punt this thing, and this is where it becomes interesting because, like I said earlier, the first two, your first-string long snapper and your if you want to call it your second string long snapper, are both out. So this is where it becomes interesting in regards to getting the ball back to the kicker.
Right. And something not right. I don't know if it was an alignment somewhere, but the Brownies calling another timeout, or I should say their first timeout of this second half. Not sure why the timeout was called. Brownies still on top, 14-7. You're watching Agawam Sports Week, Channel 32. Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco and our good friend Dan Shenefield in the booth up here tonight. Dan, you talked about the Agawam Brownies putting more points up on the board. What does Westfield have to do if they're going to contain the Agawam offense?
Well, to be honest, guys, I think Westfield has got to go back to the past. If they're going to put something on the board, that's how they've moved the ball in the first half. And that is what seems to work for them tonight.
So after the timeout, now Brownie's taking the field. I'm sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. Like,
wait till Mike comes across from this side. He'll hit you with
hopefully your Jets will do good this Sunday. We've got the Colts on Sunday, so I don't know who you have.
Oh, there's that bad snap we alluded to.
Yes, sir. And a knee went down there on the bad snap. Oh, that's a tough break for the Agawam Brownies, Frank. Westfield's going to take over, and they're going to have great field position on the Brownie 23-yard line. So a muffed punt, or I should say a muffed snap, and Anderson's knee hit the ground. So there's a key break that Westfield was looking for.
And how that, you know, as much as I hate to say it, it's an uplifting experience. Automatically, they picked up 15, 16, 17 yards and really didn't do anything. So it's going to be up to the Agawam defense right now to see if they can get it back.
Well, they got crucial field position and another timeout being called. And I think that's going to be charged to Agawam. Now, I don't understand why Agawam is using all these timeouts. You know, you're only allowed so many in each half, and Agawam already using 2 in this half.
Well,
of course, they charge it to Agawam. I don't know if Westfield called it, but it looked like they charged it to Agawam, so I'm going to stand possibly corrected. Agawam may not have called that timeout, but I think the referee on this far side of the field signaled that Agawam did. And obviously, they didn't, Frank, because Agawam is still out on the field, and Westfield talking with their head coach.
Right. They're trying to decide how they want to handle this opening series here. I think what they tried to probably do is call some kind of an audible at the line, and it wasn't working. So the quarterback opted to say, let's stop this thing right here before we really mess everything up.
So Westfield now sitting with great field position on the Brownie 23-yard line. 1st and 10 for Dan Chisholm. Agawam defense pretty much stopping that Westfield running attack. Ball handed off once again to Greg Bevilacqua. Picks up probably 4 yards. Hit there by Bobby Magistri. Made a good stop to come up. Number 56, Mike Perry. 2nd and 6 from the Brownie 19-yard line.
Mr. Bevilacqua is getting a lot of playing time tonight, Frank.
Well, no doubt, Frank, that he's their key star running back. If you can stop Greg Bevilacqua, you have a good chance at stopping that patented Westfield offense. But then, once again, you know that the Westfield Bombers can also go to the air, so you've got to be real careful in your secondary.
And how?
2nd and 6 from the 19-yard line. Ball handed off to Mark Hermans. He was stacked up there by the Brownies. Pick up a maybe 4. It's going to bring up 3rd and 2 now from the 15-yard line. And this would be possibly a real crucial defensive set for the Agawam Brownies at this point.
Well, they're getting down to goal line defense. You don't want to put them inside the 10-yard line. Otherwise, Westfield could give you several different looks, and one of them could be that pass that they've been patented with.
Well, Mark Herman's 21, their short yardage specialist, actually, for Westfield, and he's in the ball game right now. Hand off to Hermans, tries that Agawam middle. Stopped there by 77, Jason Rossi and company, and it's going to be very close, Frank.
Well, it depends on how they spot the ball.
Well,
and have to see what happens.
They needed 2 yards, and I'm not sure. I think it's going to be very close. This could be measurement time, and that's exactly what the referee is doing, calling a timeout for the measurement. There's Benjamin up there very closely watching to make sure that everything is on the up and up, as is Westfield. is, Frank. Ball is over that line, so Westfield on the Mark Herman's plunge picks up a crucial first down. Now, that gives Westfield 4 downs to punch it home, and they're on the Agawam 11-yard line.
Yeah, that's almost too many downs for Westfield to have at that point. And believe it or not, on the 11, they could make another first down.
They certainly can. So Dan Chisholm now talking to his backfield, getting set to face the Brownie defense once again. Brownies trying to stiffen up here as Westfield knocking on the door. Pitch out to Greg Bevilacqua trying to get to the outside, and the Brownies do a good job converging, led there by 49 Chris Benjamin.
There's a flag on the play.
Ouch, a flag on the play there, Frank.
What do we got?
Well, it was down there after the tackle.
After the play.
After the play, so now that's going to be interesting. The referees looking at each other. Oh, tough play. Personal foul, the second one on the Brownies thus far this evening, and that's going to be moved, Frank, half the distance of the goal line. That call couldn't have come at a worse time.
No, that's a tough call when you get down that close to the goal line. You don't want to make that kind of a play, and you get a first down.
On top of it, so that gives the Bombers 4 plays to punch it home, and they are very close to pay dirt at this particular time. Danny, what do you think the defense can do at this point? Just stiffen up and try to hold their ground?
Well, they're going to have to build themselves a wall. So far in the second half, the Westfield offense, their offense has come out, and they're playing like they did not play in the first half.
Ball handed to Chisholm, gives off to number 27, Bevilacqua. And boy, I'll tell you, Bob Magistri came up quick, number 12, along with 33, Brian Colby. But not getting in. It's going to bring up second and goal from the 1. Brownie's doing a good job trying to keep Bevilacqua out of that end zone. A lot of the fans over here thought that 27 Bevilacqua got in. But the referee right there, also number 21 in the game, Mark Hermans, short back specialist for Westfield in the backfield. First and goal, pitch off to Hermans. Hermans over the middle for a touchdown. So the Westfield Bombers, on some key mistakes by the Agawam Brownies, pick up their second touchdown by number 21, Mark Hermans, and the Brownies on top, 14-13, waiting for that extra point or 2-point conversion.
I don't think Westfield is going to go for 2 here, Frank, and the reason that I don't is I think they have a lot of faith in their place kicker. I think they would prefer to tie it now rather than try to go ahead. And there it is.
And the ball is up. Some anxious youngsters trying to pick up the pigskin. So the score is tied. We're down to 5:19 to go in this third quarter. Tied 14-14. We'll bring it back here at Bullens Field in just a moment. The Westfield Bombers, if you just joined us on the 21 Mark Herman's plunge right at the Brownie goal line, have tied things up 14-14. Frank Andrus along with Frank Dizzy.
Yeah, thank you very much. Dizzy.
I didn't mean that.
I will believe.
I know you
get
will,
even.
but I did not say that on purpose. That was Dan. Help me out here.
No.
Hey, you're on your own.
I know. Set to go here, the Westfield Bombers kicking off Jason O'Connor, number 10, and touched there by Jason Vatsakis. Vatsakis works the wedge very well, and then hit there by number 61, Danny Manelli, and number 81, Micah Forsberg. So the Agawam Brownies will start out first and 10 from the 32. Danny Manelli really getting in there, number 61 on the special teams unit. And it remains to be seen what the Agawam defense has in store for the Westfield Bombers.
Well, they're going to have to show them, I think, Frank, a lot of new stuff that they didn't even show them in the first half, because they've already seen that. They know what's going to happen. So they're going to come up with some new tricks out of their bag.
First and 10 from the 32. Moriarty goes to pass, pumps it once, complete to 83, Pellegrino. Pellegrino hit there by 63, Mike Rasico, and 27, Greg Bevilacqua in on the play. but not before the Brownies pick up 7 yards, Frank. It'll be 2nd and 3.
Well, if they keep working like that, they start doing a 5-7, 5-7 types of yardage, eat the clock, move the ball down the field, put themselves in a potential scoring position, and then see what happens.
Hopefully Agawam will do that, keeping that Westfield offense off of the field. 2nd and 3 for Moriarty. Moriarty on the quarterback sneak.
Quarterback keeper.
Got a hit there by the front line, and I would say that that'll be plenty, Frank, for a first down. Should be 1st and 10.
Looks like he was able to make enough, and yes, it is. There it is, the indication by the head referee. Agawam does pick up their first down.
Right now, the Agawam Brownies, Westfield Bombers playing quite even here, with the Brownies having a little edge. 4:22 to go in this third quarter, tied up 14-14. Bombers, of course, undefeated so far thus this season. 1st and 10 for the Brownies. Westfield defense digging in, looking for the stunt, and it works as they converge on 44. Jason Vatsekis hit there by 33 Mike Stavanovich, and no gain on the play. You could see the linebackers getting ready to stunt on that play. It was no secret. 2nd and 10.
They knew they were going with it. Who was going to carry the ball, knew where they were going, and this has been the predictability of Agawam in games past. They've got to break that predictability.
And you know, and I'm sure, and they've done that. They have shown us so far here that they can mix up the offensive plays and keep the defense guessing, and they've done that so far. 2nd and 10 on the no gain by 44, Jason Vatsekis. And Moriarty under heavy pressure screens over to Vatsekis and drops the ball. Now, is that a fumble?
It should be, because he did have possession.
Boy, he had possession for a while and dropped the ball.
But I think the whistle blew the play dead. I think that was a fast whistle.
Yes, I think you're right. Westfield bench right now is irate over that call. It looked like Vatsekis had the ball long enough and then dropped. But you are right, an inadvertent quick whistle gives the Brownies the ball back.
And looks like someone called the timeout.
Yeah, Agawam once again here in this second half uses its 3rd timeout. And the score, of course, tied 14-14. We're in the 3rd quarter. With you, Frank Andrus, Frank Disco, and Dan Shenefield. And Dan, you must like it up here because you are in no hurry to go home.
No, we have a game tonight. It took Westfield a little while to get back, but they're back and they're here for the haul.
Certainly are, and now would be the time, folks, to run out and get a hot coffee. And I'm not hinting that you get us any coffee, by the way, even though we are a little chilly up here tonight.
No, tonight's a good night.
You paying?
You don't need
you
coffee.
paying? I'll run.
I think Mr. Dizzy should pay. Excuse me.
Now, was that a mistake?
I don't know. There's a, what would they call that? That's a pyramid by the Westfield cheerleaders. A great shot there by our cameraman, who happened to be right there. And back to live action now as the timeout called by the Agawam Brownies. 3rd and 10 now. In motion for the Agawam Brownies. Back to pass. 63 under heavy pressure. Moriarty, and complete. Big play to Brian Pellegrino, Frank, and that should be enough for a first down. Bevilacqua on the coverage.
I believe that will be enough for a first down, Frank, and that is what we've been talking about. You can't use Jason. If you want to use him once, you want to use him twice, okay. But you're going to have to go pass, run to the weak side, run to the strong side, pass to the weak side, pass to the strong side, and just pick them apart. You have to outguess them.
Well, they're certainly mixing up their offensive plays, the Agawam Brownies, and so far it's working for them as they're going to the pass a little more often. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line for the Brownies. Pitched out to 44, Jason Vatsekis. Hit there, oh, excuse me, hit there initially by 33, Mike Stavanovich. Pick up of maybe 5 on the play, 4 or 5. It'll bring up a 2nd and 5 from the 37-yard line.
And that's exactly what they're doing, is they're mixing them up. And this is a real good sign, and looks like the coaching staff is doing an excellent job in regards to play selection. Keeping everybody guessing.
2nd and 5 for the Agawam Brownies now at the 37-yard line. Brownies and Bombers all knotted up here at 14 apiece in this 3rd quarter. in what's proving to be a big game in school action. Vatsekis with the run up the middle. Finally hit there by number 10, Jason O'Connor. But, Frank, another Brownie first down.
Well, like I said, they're doing what they got to do. They got to eat the clock, make the yardage, work their way down towards the goal, and put some more points on the board. Sound good? Does that sound good to you, Dan?
It's a winner.
Looks like we're going to do ourselves another measurement here, too.
I think so. Somebody looking at something. I thought we had a first down, but they're bringing out the measuring stick. Here you see it right there. Brownies with a first down.
By a nose.
Certainly not by much. So the Brownies now first and 10, still with life pumped into their lungs as they have come out here swinging at the Westfield Bombers. We're down to a minute 53, clock running in the third quarter, tied up at 14 apiece. Moriarty looking over the Westfield Bomber defense now, as here come the linebackers getting ready to stun, and a muff snap, and it worked for the Bombers, Frank. I think that they made the center a little nervous, and a muff snap, and was that, oh, now wait a minute now, that's a recovery.
Fumble. Fumble on a play,
yes.
And who's got it? Who are they going to give it to?
I don't know if they made the signal yet. There was a penalty and a fumble.
And a discussion.
Well, it looked like 63, Mike Racicol, was in there for the Bombers and recovered the fumble. But now a penalty being called as the refs discuss everything, and an offside call against the Brownies gives Westfield the ball. That's the second time that a penalty has really hurt the Agawam Brownies.
And how? That's an interesting one.
First and 10.
10 now for the Westfield Bombers. On the fumble recovery by 63, Mike Racicol.
Now the object is that Agawam's got to get the ball back. They have to get it back.
Oh, they certainly do. Ball handed off to number 27, Greg Babalakwa. He's hit there by number 49, Chris Benjamin and company. It's going to bring up a short 2-yard pickup. Will bring up 2nd and 8 for Westfield. Now, you know, you would think now, Dan, that this would pump up the offense after the defense has come up with a big recovery like that.
Well, so far we've seen the Westfield defense out there quite a bit. They've got to be tired. They needed that play right then when it happened. And now the offense has got to show them what they've got.
And hopefully Agawam will be up to that task defensively, as a 2nd down and 8 for Dan Chisholm and his Westfield offense. Ball pitched out to 27, Bevilacqua. Here's the Brownies on a convert, but some broken tackles and big running by Bevilacqua. Finally hit there by Marty Giroux. And 89, Brian King, they had him back in the backfield.
They had him in the backfield. You will not arm tackle this gentleman. You've got to do the wrap-up, and if you don't wrap him up, you're not going to knock him down. You're not going to get him high on the shoulder pads. You're not going to get him really up around the chest area. It's got to be a classic textbook tackle. That's the only way you're going to drop him.
Well, you know, they had him back in the backfield, and because of those missed tackles, it gives the Bombers some new life at 1st and 10 at about the 49-yard line, and we're the third quarter rapidly coming to an end. Ball handed to Bevilacqua, tries the center of the line, and boy, did he get crushed.
A lot of brown shirts there, Frank.
Ouch.
Not many white shirts.
That will hurt you. In the third quarter now, ticking down here at Bullens Field, as we are just about out of time. We are. That will end the third quarter with the score: the Agawam Brownies 14 and the Westfield Bombers 14. We'll bring you back here in just a moment.
Had a few drinks, did some crack, and ended up another tragic story. Only she doesn't know it yet. Drugs make you forget. And if you forget how risky sex can be, you could catch the AIDS virus and not know it for months, even years. AIDS, another way drugs can kill.
Back back here at Bullens Field after the third quarter ending, 14-14. Brownies getting set to take the field now, where the Westfield Bombers will have it 2nd down and 10 from the 49-yard line. Key fumble recovery by number 63, Mike Rasico, and then a couple of penalties has put Westfield in pretty good shape here to start this fourth quarter.
Well, they're not in too bad a field position. All they have to do is just work it down a little bit further, and they'll be in even better position. But the Agawam defense is going to say something about that.
Oh, I'm sure that they are.
I'm quite sure.
You know, you've got to be. I think you've got to be happy with all the injuries that the Agawam Brownies have had during these first 3 games of the season to come back the way that they have in tonight's game against the real powerhouse Westfield, being tied 14-14. That tells me a lot about the defense.
You hung.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I turned the microphone over to somebody, and they just weren't there for me. But that's okay. 2nd and 10 from the 49. Ball pitched to Greg Balalakwa as he pounds off that left side, hit there by Brian King. Getting up from the pile, Chris Benjamin and Bobby Magistri coming up to make the stick. Pick up a maybe 4. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 for the Bombers.
3rd and 6.
A large crowd on hand here for this game at Bullens Field. I'll tell you, they really take their football seriously out here. You've got to be really pleased if you're a Westfield fan and a Westfield resident of the football program that they have put together here over the past 10 years.
Well, they've done tremendous with the youth program up through high school. And the crowds, it shows.
Long pass, wide open, number 87, Tony Bibbins, and, oh, I think he stepped out. I think he stepped out. The people here in Bullens Field going crazy, signaling a touchdown, but I think he stepped out.
There's the referee down there on the sideline. He's saying out of bounds at about the 12-yard line.
Oh, boy, a big break for the Agawam Brownies as a beautiful hookup from Dan Chisholm to number 87, Tony Bivens.
There's the mark.
That's what a ref said, hey, that's right where you stepped out. Cameraman right there giving you the view of what the referee saw. So a 1st down and 10. Agawam defense going to have to really stiffen up now as they are at the Agawam 12-yard line. Chisholm now back to pass, 49 in there. Chris Benjamin on the sack.
Big play there, Frank. Big pushback. Something didn't work in that interior line because Chris just walked right in untouched.
Oh, boy, they couldn't have asked for a better defensive play at any given time. Danny, you got to be happy with the way the defense is playing.
The Agawam defense is fantastic. They needed a play. They needed a big one, and they just got it. This is what they need real bad right now.
2nd down for the Westfield Bombers now. Chisholm looking over the Agawam defense. Back to pass is Chisholm. He's got decent protection across the middle and just broken up by number 12, Bobby Magistri. Oh, he tried to go to number 12, Jeremy Pays.
Pellegrino.
A lot of people, a lot of orange shirts in there throwing it into traffic. There was a lot of hands up there to knock that play down. And it looks like we got ourselves another timeout.
Yeah, Westfield wants to talk about it. And I think what they've got to do is they've got to come up with some type of play to throw Agawam off balance. The Agawam defense doing right now a fantastic job. Coming up, of course, with the big quarterback sack, Chris Benjamin. And Bobby Magistri right there, number 12, on the big coverage to Jeremy Pays. Now, they're faced with a 3rd down. And I don't know what you would call right here, but Dan, if you're the offensive coach maybe for Westfield, what do you think you might opt to go with at this point?
Well, at this point, they've tried to pass. They've had one run. It's going to be a tough call. They've got to want it bad enough. And this is the play that's going to make the difference. They have a quarter left. It's the game. We've got to do something. We've got to put points on the board.
So I think maybe what we possibly could see at this point right here, hopefully, is a real stiff Agawam defense coming up big against the Westfield Bombers. Of course, if you're the Westfield Bombers, you want to make these plays work. You want to get into your face with a 3rd down. You don't want to have to kick a field goal at this point, although Westfield has a very good field goal kicker.
Oh, yes, they do. They can put it between the pipes with no problem whatsoever. And the thing that Agawam is trying to do is prevent that from happening. Keep pushing them back, try to create a play.
Yeah, 15. Back to pass, right in it. Oh, 60. Chris DeMastri causes the fumble. Oh, man.
And the big man comes up with it, number 77.
Holy cow, what a turnaround. The Agawam Brownies, Westfield knocking at the doorstep. And then the Agawam Brownies, Chris DeMastri causing the fumble. Brownies will have it 1st and 10 at the 25.
That's the big play that Agawam's been looking for. Now this should fire up that offense and get them really running and really going, because now they got momentum.
That's going to be, boy, that's got to be a big lift for your offense coming out onto the field. The Agawam defense really needed it at this time. 1st and 10 from the 25 for the Agawam Brownies. Back to pass. Moriarty under pressure. He dropped the ball. Oh, Moriarty dropped the ball.
Westfield recovered.
66, John Bonaconte caused the fumble, Frank. Looked like 75, Matt Othier recovered the ball. And so Westfield gets it right back at the 24.
One up, one down. That's a tough chain of events.
31st and 10 for the Bombers. From the Agawam 24-yard line.
And Dan, you're sitting here just, Dan, you are calm as a cucumber. What do you think about this turn of events?
We have us a defense battle. Right now we have two defenses that have caused fumbles. I think this game's going to be won by the defense.
Back to pass, Dan Chisholm, wide open. Oh, he tried to go to number 42, Jason Syburn. And 33, Brian Colby, just took away an apparent Westfield touchdown.
Excellent defensive play by Brian Colby on that play. He couldn't have timed it any better to put his hands on that ball and knock it down. An interception in this particular point in time is not what you want. You want him to knock them down, force them, push them, make them do something strange.
2nd down and 10 for the Westfield Bombers now. Boy, what a key play by 33, Brian Colby, as he takes away an apparent touchdown to number 42, Jason Syburn. Dan Chisholm now looking over the defense, and some confusion in the Westfield offense, Frank, and they've called a timeout. And with their timeout, we're going to bring you back here at Bowlins Field in just about 30 seconds. Westfield calling a timeout as back and forth defensive action. Agawam, of course, getting a fumble recovery. Westfield getting it right back. So it is back and forth action for the Westfield defense and the Agawam defense, with the Brownies looking to hold Westfield off the scoreboard here in this 4th quarter. We're tied at 14 apiece.
Well, the Agawam defense is doing a phenomenal job. Westfield's offense is doing a phenomenal job. And the Westfield defense is doing a phenomenal job. And we're just playing head-to-head ball.
We certainly are. Defense is the key here thus far tonight. As Dan had mentioned earlier, we're seeing a real defensive battle right here. Bad exchange, Frank, between the center and the quarterback, and I think Westfield will retain possession. And they do retain possession, but it's going to be 3rd down and 11 now from the 25-yard line. So actually the Bombers squandering that chance, because now you pretty much have to go to the air.
Well, it's either that or kick a field goal. Now you're at the ball's going to be spotted at the 25-yard line. You're talking now a 40-yard field goal. That's a toughie.
So quarterback Dan Chisholm now looks over the Agawam Brownie defense, coming in on him, and and a fumble, Frank. Dan Chisholm lost the ball. Brian King, 89, came in on the left-hand side. He caused the fumble, and Chris Benjamin, number 49, recovers the ball for Agawam.
But I don't think they're going to give it to Agawam. I think they're going to say the quarterback's arm was in a forward motion, and it's going to be an incompleted forward pass.
Boy, I'll tell you, I don't know, Frank. No, sir. No, sir. They're calling it an Agawam fumble recovery by Chris Benjamin.
Okay.
And Dan, you picked a heck of a time to come up here. This is a real Donnybrook we've got going here now.
This is one heck of a game. The Agawam defense, they are playing top. They could not be any better than what they are right now. I don't know what the coach could ask them that they haven't done so far tonight.
And a good analysis, too, is the Agawam defense playing superb ball, something that we haven't had a chance to see him do thus far this season. And they've got the ball back 1st and 10 thanks to Chris Benjamin and Brian King. Pitched out to 44, Jason Vatsekis across the right side as he drags Bomber players with him. Big pickup of about 8 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 2 for the Agawam Brownies.
Now, Agawam's got to sustain this drive, and they got to keep it running. That's something that has been plaguing them in the past, is that they get down kind of close, and then they come up with some type of minor infraction or error that stalls the drive, and you can't do that.
Ball handed off to 38, Steve Lanier. Boy, I'll tell you, up the middle. And we haven't had much. We've seen him run the ball a couple of times, Steve Lanier, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's either Lanier or Lanier. Frank, can you help me out on that one?
Lanier.
Oh, it's Lanier, okay.
I think. I
so it could be wrong, too.
Get all kinds of pronunciations.
Well, we've seen him run the ball a couple of times, and he's done outstanding work in the backfield for the Agawam Brownies.
Well, it gives Agawam the backfield, or gives the Agawam backfield that second threat. It gives the quarterback the opportunity of going to 2 backs if he wants.
That's right. And also that play just gave Agawam another 1st down. Pitched out to Jason Vatsekis. Vatsekis across the left-hand side. Big run by Jason Vatsekis. Hit there by 27, Greg Babalakwa. Not enough for a first, but very, very close. It'll bring up 2nd down for the Agawam Brownies.
Inside Westfield territory at the 49.
This has turned into one heck of a football game. You know that?
Oh, very enjoyable to be here.
Unreal.
Absolutely very enjoyable. Both teams, both defenses, I might add, playing extremely well. 2nd down for the Agawam Brownies now. Ball handed off to Lanier across the right-hand side. Nice pickup for Lanier as he's hit there by 33, Mike Stavanovich, and 27, Greg Babalakwa, Frank. But another Brownie 1st down, and they're really sustaining the drive.
That's what they got to do. You've got to keep it rolling. They're doing well. They're doing the 4, 5, and 6-yard pickups. And you've got to do that and do it consistently, and so far they've picked up 2 1st downs since they started this drive, and they got to keep it going.
And you know, Dan, I don't think the Jets could do it any better.
This offense, this Agawam defense, they have been fantastic. I don't know what the coach is going to want that they haven't given, other than having the defense score, and that's still a possibility.
It could very well be. I'm sorry. I might apologize. I'm not laughing at you, Dan. Mr. Dizzy over here to my right. Mr. Disco, I'm very sorry.
That's all right.
I know. I know what you're thinking.
We will get even. Won't get evil. We'll get even.
Oh, gosh. 2nd down and 7 for the Agawam Brownies at the 42-yard line. The Agawam Brownies really sustaining this offensive drive at this point. Ball handed off to Jason Vatsekis across the right-hand side. He's got some running room. Oh, he makes a nice move. He's hit there by Jason O'Connor. But another Agawam Brownie 1st down, Frank.
And how? And like we've been keep saying through this whole series of downs, that Agawam has just basically been eating up the clock, marching down the field, and working towards that touchdown.
Oh, sure. You know, Westfield is looking at something that Agawam has probably not seen, that Westfield has not seen, and that's a very balanced offensive attack that they're seeing. You know, they're going to the run, they're going to the air, they're throwing a couple things that Westfield certainly did not expect in Agawam. I'm sure that probably during the week, Westfield coaches probably said, hey, if you key on 44, you key on the Agawam offense. You shut down 44, you shut down the Agawam offense, and that has not happened. We've seen Steve Lanier come in and make some good plays. We've seen Bob Kunkel make some real nice receptions. So Agawam really showing us a well-balanced attack.
Well, one thing that I don't think Agawam was able to do with Holyoke or Chicopee. We didn't see the Hoosick Valley game. I can't even talk right there. So I'm quite sure that all the teams in the organization is saying, well, this is what we have to do, is shut down Jason Vatsakis, and we close down Agawam. Not so. Not so at all.
We're seeing a different Agawam team thus far. Agawam now taking the field now. After the Jason Vatsakis run, they're at 1st and 10 and driving the football down on Westfield. Moriarty now hands off to Vatsakis. Vatsakis stopped and then tries to go in a different hole. Hit there by 63, Mike Rasical. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. And Westfield stiffening up on its defense, Dan. No doubt about it. They are stiffening up on the defense.
Most definitely, but also the fact that Jason had the ball. They knew where Jason was going, and they plugged the hole. So he ended up hitting where the initial slot that he was supposed to go in, pulled back around and tried to pick up some additional yardage, but basically got back to the line of scrimmage.
You're right. 2nd down and 10 on the no gain by Vatsakis. Agawam puts somebody in motion, pitch out to Vatsakis, trying the left-hand side, and nothing doing.
All you got is white shirts there, no blocking.
No.
And they're just keying right on him. That's been the thing that's happened to Jason. The kid is one fantastic athlete. He runs the ball. He's got a lot of power, but you're not going to outpower four tackling.
Now 63 on the stop, Mike Rasico, who's been all over the field for the Bombers thus far this evening. And on the 2-yard loss, the Brownies now find themselves in a little bit of a hole. 3rd down and 12. So they're right now squandering a good offensive opportunity.
Yes, and at this stage of the game, I think if they don't make any yardage on this play, I'd kick a field goal.
Moriarty back to pass across the middle, in and out of the hands of Brian Pellegrino. Jeremy Pays right there for the Westfield Bombers. So really a passing situation that had to be done on 3rd and 12. Brownies on the incomplete pass will go 4th and 12 now.
Timeout, Agawam.
And I think Agawam really wants to talk about it, which way they're going to go. And with their timeout, we'll take a timeout. We'll bring you back here with the score, the Agawam Brownies 14 and the Westfield Bombers 14. The Agawam timeout. Agawam still on the sideline. Now they're faced with a 4th down and 12. Danny, what do you do here? Do you try to go for it, or do you kick a field goal?
I would go for the field goal. They need to get some extra points on the board, so they've got to do it now. Westfield's going to get the ball back, so they've got to put the points up now.
I'm sorry, Frank, go right ahead.
The Westfield coach didn't kick the field goal earlier when he should have, in my estimation. Granted, Agawam has got a snapper that's not accustomed to snapping the ball, but he's done 2 good snaps for points after. All right, so the field goal is not any further back than a point after conversion. So Anderson can kick it. He did a 46-yarder, I believe, in one of the games. I think it was against Chicopee. Launched one beautiful ball. So he can put the ball up there. And if I was the coach, at this stage of the game, 4th down on the 12, kick it.
Well, obviously nobody's really listening to any of us here in the booth, because the Agawam Brownies, Brian Anderson not out on the field. Brownies with a 4th down and 12. And so they're opting to go with an offensive pass, I would have to say, at this point. Moriarty now looking over the defense. The defense for Westfield stepped back in anticipation of the pass. Moriarty rolls to his right across the middle and incomplete. And that ball was tipped by number 10, Jason O'Connor, and Westfield takes over. So a key moment for the Westfield defense.
Big play there by Westfield by knocking that play down. Otherwise, if they had not, it would have given Agawam the 1st down, and then we'd have been in serious trouble in regards to what's going on. We got 2 minutes and 44 seconds to go in the 4th quarter, and now Westfield has the ball.
And a lot of time on the clock for Westfield's offense to operate. This is probably, I would say, Danny, probably one of the most crucial defensive sets for the Agawam Brownies tonight.
If the Agawam defense is going to hold, they've got to do it now.
Ball taken out, complete up the sideline. Oh boy, way too much for the Agawam Brownies to give up on the pass to Greg Bevilacqua. He's finally knocked out of bounds by 33, Brian Colby.
Big reception, big run. Made too many yards on that play, Frank, and it did not eat up enough time on the clock. That play only probably taken about 8 or 10 seconds off the clock, and you can't do that. You've got to, force them to do something more strenuous than just a quick pass like that and some running.
1st and 10 now for the Bombers at the 49-yard line. Chisholm back to pass. He's under heavy pressure and overthrows the ball, and a good defensive effort by that front line of the Agawam Brownies as they put big pressure on Dan Chisholm. Now that pass going to Greg Bevilacqua was covered also by Brian Colby, number 33. That'll bring up 2nd and 10. Ball still at the 49. Big crowd on both sides turning out for this evening's game. If you just joined us, you are watching Agawam Sports Week on Continental's Channel 32. You're with, you're not watching, you're with Frank Andrews, Frank Disco, and Dan Shenefield in the booth calling the play-by-play. Back to pass, Dan Chisholm. He's got time across the middle and complete. Boy, a nice play by number 87, Tony Bivens. Moriarty on the coverage. 1st down, Westfield Bombers. That's something that the Agawam Brownies cannot give up, is these big yardage plays to Tony Bivens, who is a very good receiver. And I'll tell you, don't take anything away from 15, Dan Chisholm, who's getting the ball over there to him. I think the Brownie rush has got to be in Chisholm's face in order for this to be stopped. Greg Bevilacqua on the run to the outside, hit there by 56, Mike Perry on the stop. Also up there, 13, Dan Moriarty. It's going to bring up 2nd down for the Bombers. Time, of course, the clock a key factor here in this 4th quarter. We're tied up at 14 apiece. This is Westfield's big offensive chance and the Brownies' big defensive chance to stop them and try and get the ball back.
Well, they're going to have to try and cause some kind of a fumble, some type of disruption in the offense in order for this to happen.
Big play by Greg Bevilacqua, Frank. Too much yardage given up by the Brownies. He was stacked up there by Brian Colby in the defense, but not before he got a 1st down. And Agawam, hey, Danny, they can't give up these 1st downs this quick.
No, they're giving up too much yardage. This is going to hurt them. They're moving it quickly, and they're in range. They can do this. They can go across the line, and we've got a new ball game.
And let's not take anything away. We're down to 1 minute and 11 seconds to go in the 4th quarter, clock running. Let's not take anything away from Westfield's kicker should they get into range, and they may very well be in his range right now.
Well, like I said, if the coach wants to win, he's going to have to win by field goal. I don't think he's going to win by TD.
Ball taken by Greg Bevilacqua, who seems to save his best running for this 4th quarter. Is stopped there by a host of Brownies. And number 13, Dan Moriarty, but another close to a 1st down for the Westfield Bombers. Is Greg Bevilacqua sucking up some air as he has gotten a lot of leg time in tonight's contest. Westfield with the timeout. We're tied up at 14 apiece. Westfield knocking at the door, and I don't think that this is where the Agawam defense wants to be at this point.
No, they don't want their backs to the goal line like they are. The Westfield offense is able to keep making positive yards. They still have plenty of time on the clock, and they're still making positive yards. Now, Agawam's going to have to do something, and they're going to have to do something real quick in order to retain the ball, get the ball, cause a fumble, intercept it, do whatever they have to do. Now, in my estimation, and I'll say it again because Agawam should have done the same thing, this Westfield coach could put his kicker in and kick it.
Well, it'll be very interesting. I don't know, you're looking at schoolboy football here, and although, sure, you may have one of your kickers that is a good kicker, he may kick 30, 40, 50 yards in a non-game situation. Now, you put your guy in there, he's under a lot of pressure. This is still schoolboy football, and for a kicker to be accurate from this far out, sometimes it's a little bit tough. I think what the coach is doing, maybe trying to get in for a touchdown, possibly trying to get the ball in a little closer to the goal line, thus giving his kicker maybe not that much of an outside kick.
I'll have to see what happens. We're armchair quarterbacking this thing from here as it stands anyway. So
15, Dan Chisholm looks over the Agawam Brownie defense now, and he hands off to 27, Greg Bevilacqua. Boy, the hole opened up, but it closed very quickly as Dan Moriarty, number 13, came up to make the tackle. And that could be, yes it is, it's close enough for a first down. And Bevilacqua coming up limping for the Westfield Bombers, but a key first down for Westfield, Dan.
Here we go.
That is the word for the day, here we go, because that is what Westfield probably has to do, and they're saying, hey guys, here we go. We are knocking at the doorstep. 1st and 10 now, and a big loss by 49, Chris Benjamin, as he hammered Greg Bevilacqua trying to get to the left side.
And Westfield called another timeout.
Yeah, boy, we're down to 18 seconds in this ballgame, folks. Tied up at 14 apiece, and we'll bring you back here in just a moment. The Bombers taking a timeout. If you missed the scenario, we're tied up here at 14 apiece, the Agawam Brownies and the Westfield Bombers. Now, the Westfield Bombers certainly close enough at this point with 18 seconds on the clock to try and kick a field goal. And Frank, I cannot believe that they're going out there with 18 seconds left and not trying a field goal. This crowd right here, I'm sure, saying the same thing because they're seeing the same thing.
You got to do it. I mean, you have no choice. That's the call.
And there you go, some boos going up on the Westfield side. Hey, 18 seconds left. You've got a pretty good field goal kicker in Jason O'Connor, and they're not going for it.
You got to go for it. I don't believe it.
2nd down and 13, back to pass. Chisholm across the end zone, in and out of the hands of Tony Bivens, off his fingertips. Covered there by 13, Dan Moriarty.
And he almost took out the goalpost on that diving attempt to make the reception. And he got up very, very slowly there. I don't think he's in too well a shape at the moment.
Oh, I'm very surprised, and like you say, you know, we may be armchair quarterbacking both clubs sitting up here in the broadcast booth, but I'm very surprised with that amount of time left on the clock with a good field goal kicker as Jason O'Connor is not going for it.
Well, we don't want to second guess him because he still has a couple more downs to play with.
3rd and 13, Frank Chisholm back to pass under heavy pressure.
Interception!
There! Oh, big play by the Agawam Brownies, 83, Brian Pellegrino, and the Brownies take over.
Big, big reception. You air it out, you're going to get it caught. Hopefully you're caught by the same team. This particular case, caught by the opponent. And that ends your scoring opportunity.
Boy, Danny, Dan, you picked probably the best time to come and visit us during a game like this. There's 3 seconds on the clock, 14-14. Pellegrino just steps in, gets the interception. What do you do at this point, 3 seconds? Do you say, hey, guys, let's go and settle for the tie? You try to go for the win this far out.
Agawam is going to have to go for the tie. They've got 4 yardage. They've got a long ways to go. It's going to be a tough call.
Well, definitely Agawam's going to have to come up with a big play, Frank, and I don't think they're going to keep it on the ground.
Well, I'm pretty sure 3 seconds to go in the game, they're going to air it out. What they've got to watch out for is they don't throw an interception here, and Westfield runs back for a TD. Moriarty, long pass, and way over the head of Brian Colby, and the clock runs out. What a good game for the Agawam Brownies here at Bullens Field. We're all tied up at 14 apiece. Couldn't ask for a better game.
No. This was probably Agawam's finest victory, and I would have to call this a victory.
No doubt about it. Dan, how did you see the game?
This was a great game. We've had some real good defense out there tonight. The offense has been superb on both sides. It was a good game.
So for Frank Andrus
and Frank Disco
and Dan Shenefield, we'll see you next week for another edition of Agawam Sports Week. This week, Frank Andrus along with Frank Disco at Minnechaug High School, an away game for the Brownies, Frank, and a very important game for the Brownies.
Oh, the Brownies definitely have to come up with this one. They've got to come up with a victory today. Otherwise, you might as well kiss the season goodbye. This should be a good contest. Minnechaug is a formidable club. Agawam, I think, will have a little bit of difficulty with it, but maybe, just maybe, I think these guys are up. They've got the injury people almost solved, and I think you're going to see a lot better football than what we've seen in the past.
Well, I think so, and of course, one of the things that we noted the last couple of weeks, of course, the big tie in Westfield against a formidable Westfield club, and that could be the beginning of good things for the Brownies. A win here, and then I believe we come back to Harmon Smith Field for a Chicopee Comp game, so Agawam has a good chance in the next 3 games of going 2-0-1.
And how? So, with that, we'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Kevin Green of the Los Angeles Rams. You know, football...
The captains on the field for both clubs. For the Agawam Brownies out there, 49, Chris Benjamin, and number 13, the quarterback, Dan Moriarty. Facing you, our camera, 50, Tim Hebert, 66. 28, Scott Korza, and number 80, Scott Leasy for the Minnechaug Falcons. And the toss is up. Frank, it looks like Agawam has elected to receive after winning the toss. They will receive the ball. Minnechaug will kick off to get things started here.
Well, I've always been an advocate. Hey, if I win the coin toss, I want the ball. You know, that's it. I mean, there's no decision here. I want the ball. Because I want to try and get into your face as fast as I can, put some points on the board as fast as I can. Say, okay, now, you do it.
And, well, some coaches will opt to... Oh, very windy day here also, I might add.
Oh, this is... Hang on to your...
yes, it is.
Bootstrap, so to speak. Otherwise, you get blown off the top.
No doubt about it. So a very big game for the Agawam Brownies here today. And a very nice day up at Falcon territory up at Minnechaug High School. The Agawam Brownies and the Minnechaug Falcons doing battle. Minnechaug having a very tough season. We had a chance to speak with a couple of the coaches earlier today, and they sport a lot of sophomores and a lot of freshmen on their team. They have a very inexperienced team, but a very solid team in some of the positions that they do have.
Well, I give the coach credit for playing his sophomores and freshmen, because what that's going to make them is a better squad in years to come. And this is what Agawam's starting to do, is that they're starting to pick up from years ago out of the youth football program, and now it's starting to show.
We're going to be back to live action, but right now we're going to give you the national anthem done by the Minnechaug Falcon High School Band. For football to begin, the Minnechaug Falcon High School Band doing the national anthem. Brownies winning the toss, electing to receive, and we'll get set to get underway. A little huddle going on in the field, Frank, some last-minute instructions.
Well, everybody's deciding how they're going to want to take this kickoff, because they definitely want to maintain possession. They're not looking to do any type of giveaway program, like in the form of a fumble or watch your clips and your downfield blocking and all that good jazz. And the pat's on the head, and everybody looks like they're getting ready to take the field and do their thing.
Well, Brownies certainly need a big game today. They've got to get it offensively, and they've got to get it defensively. Scott Korzon and the rest of the club, a very formidable Minnechaug Falcon club. The quarterback, number 14, Jamie Quist, he likes to pass and he likes to run, and the Brownies are going to have to contain him, and They're going to have to do it up front. We're just about set to kick off. 84. Richard Falzon will do the kicking chores for the Minnechaug Falcons. And we are just about underway here at Minnechaug High School Field on a beautiful afternoon for football.
Well, the only thing we have to ask is if the wind dies down about 30 knots, we'll be all right.
I know. And we're underway for another great game of Agawam High School football, taken there by Arthur Arcott for the Agawam Brownies. And right away, he's smothered there by a host of Minnechaug Falcons. Brownies will start out 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Curious to see what they're running, Frank. Of course, you know, a couple weeks back or a week back, they went to that run-and-shoot type offense, which seems to work so well for them. Hopefully, they'll continue to do that and, you know, do some things up front offensively to confuse the defense.
Well, what you're going to have to do, and Agawam has to do, is that everybody's been out there scouting them, and they know pretty much what they're going to play, what type of position they're going to be in when they're in a certain situation, a 3rd and long, 2nd and short, whatever, and you've got to confuse them, and you cannot become predictable, and that's what's happened in the past.
1st and 10 from the 38 now, opening series for the Brownies. Lanier across the right-hand side, and he tripped over his own lineman's feet, Frank, or he could have gotten a few more. Pickup of maybe only 2 on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 8 from the 40-yard line for the Agawam Brownies.
Well, that's something different right off the top. Most of the time, their opening play's been with Jason Vatsakis.
So there's a little something different.
A little different twist here.
Well, you know, we talked about that earlier, Frank, in the season. Steve Lanier, a formidable running back. I'd like to see him come out of the backfield a little more.
Oh, he does a very, very good job. Okay, Dan Moriarty getting ready to take the snap.
Brownies set offensively, handoff to their left-hand side. Vatsakis slips a couple of tackles and then hit there by number 80, Scott Lacey. Pickup of about 4 on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 4 for the Agawam Brownies.
Agawam's at least trying to move the ball down the field, and they're doing some decent yardage right now. 3rd and 4, that's good.
Oh, we'll take it. It's better than 3rd and 10.
Oh, yeah.
Ball pitched out to number 44, Vatsakis. Vatsakis to the right-hand side. Hit there number 14, Jamie Quist, and number 50, Tim Hebert, Frank. But we've got some laundry on the field there in your picture.
Yeah.
And that could be against the Agawam Brownies. It is a 10-yard holding penalty against the Agawam Brownies, so that hurts their cause.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You're going to get offensive holding, defensive holding. Who's holding who?
Tough call. Referee right down there on the field. So that's going to be 3rd down. With the penalty, it's going to bring up 3rd and 14 from about the 34-yard line, which basically puts the Agawam Brownies into the passing mode.
Oh, they're going to have to unload here, and they got to make the 1st down to get it. See what kind of type of play they're able to come up with.
Moriarty now looking over the Falcon defense, getting set to call the play. Moriarty, he is back to pass. Moriarty under some pressure, throws the ball, and intercepted. Jamie Quist stepped right in front of it, number 14, and he picks off an errant Moriarty pass, Frank, and the Falcons do it defensively. They're going to start out 1st and 10 on the Brownie 42-yard line.
That's excellent field position for the Falcons. Nice reception by number 14. I think Dan, possibly should have thrown that away and kicked it.
Well, I don't know if he should have kicked it, but he was under some heavy pressure up front, and Jamie Quist, number 14, also the quarterback for the Falcons now right here in your picture, just stepped right up in front of it and intercepted it. Falcons 1st and 10 now from the 42. Ball pitched out now. Nice play, Frank. Boy, I'll tell you, that was a nice run there. The pitch to 15, Brian Maloney, and then he was tripped up there by 83, Brian Pellegrino. 1st down for the Falcons.
Oh, he was able to turn the corner on that, and Pellegrino was just able to get a hand on him as he made the corner and started downfield. Otherwise, that could have been for a 6-pointer because there wasn't anybody between him and the goal line.
Oh, there wasn't. So 1st and 10 for the Falcons on their first offensive possession after the picked-off pass by Jamie Quist, number 14. Here come the Falcons once again, and the Scott Corzin, 28 there, slammed by 72, Matt Disco. Also in there, 77, Jason Rossi. Pick up a maybe 3. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 7 for the Falcons.
Those two players right there, the two people that come off injured this week. Jason Rossi with a small back spasm problem has been, in and out, in and out, in and out. Matt Disco, he's been playing with an ankle problem, and they're both healthy right here, so that's a good sign.
Ball handed off to 28, Scott Corzon. Tries the middle of the line. Hit there by 77, Jason Rossi. Number 34, the freshman, Brian Menard. Pick up a maybe 2 on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 5 for the Falcons.
3rd and 5.
Frank, you are right. A couple of those players, Jason Rossi, of course, your son, Matt Disco, out last week with an ankle injury, and Jason Rossi with a back injury, so that certainly beefs up the Brownie defensive front to have those two gentlemen back in the lineup.
The funny part, they go both ways. They're also playing on offense.
I know it. 34, Jamie Mitchell with the toss. They're slammed right there by 89. Brian King in there, 12, Bobby Magistri, and 33, Brian Colby just made a peanut butter sandwich out of Jamie Mitchell, number 34.
Welcome to football. Good camera work there by Dan Schoenfeld, our cameraman down on the sidelines today.
Yeah, Danny right down there in the action. But, Frank, they picked up the 1st down on that Jamie Mitchell run. It's going to bring up 1st and goal from the 5-yard line.
Well, this is where the defense is definitely going to have to pull up their bootstraps and say, okay, guys, no more.
14, Jamie Quist looking over the Brownie line. Oh, we've got some movement. Some movement in the line, and that's going to be an illegal procedure, Frank, against the Falcons. You could see it on the right-hand side of the line. Legal procedure against the Falcons. That's going to bring them back in 1st and goal now. So the Brownies get a little breathing room, 1st and goal from about the 11-yard line.
Oh, it's just going to, it gives them a little breathing, gives the Brownies a little breathing room, also gives the Falcons a little bit more room to work with. You get down that close, your players can't maneuver too far because they're going to run out of the football field.
So the Falcon offense set to go. Brownie defense digging in, trying to keep the Falcons off the scoreboard here. No score in this 1st quarter. Pitch out to number 15, Brian Maloney. Maloney trying to get to the outside and handcuffed there by 33, Brian Colby. Boy, he got headlocked over there, Frank, by Brian Colby, but not before the Falcons pick up 10 yards. It's 1st and goal from the 1.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Brian was just able to save the touchdown, and it was a heck of a nice run, that's all I can tell you.
Nice run by Brian Maloney for the Falcons. Puts them in good field position at the 1, and more importantly, they've got 4 downs to punch it home against the Agawam Brownies. Ball handed off in the middle to Scott Corzon. Touchdown, Falcons.
Real quickie right over the center on a handoff, almost like a quarterback sneak. And I think Agawam was anticipating the quarterback sneak. When it didn't happen, everybody just kind of relaxed for that split second and let the runner go right through the middle.
Yeah, Scott Corzon up the middle. So an important play by number 14, Jamie Quist, as he stepped in front of that Moriarty errant pass. And on the 1st turnover, Minnechaug jumps up on the board, 6-0. Jamie Quist out there for the Minnechaug Falcons. He also is the place kicker, Frank. So this kid doesn't really come off the field very often.
A universal player here.
I'll say. Set to go with the point after attempt by the Falcons. There's the snap. The ball is up, and the kick is good. So the Minnechaug Falcons on the touchdown by number 28, Scott Corzon, go on top of the Brownies, 7-0.
Well, Agawam's going to definitely have to try something new here. Now they're going to have the opportunity going on the offense. The Falcons are going to be kicking to the Brownies and have to see what kind of plays they can come up with.
Well, hopefully they'll come up with something to get themselves back into the ballgame. Of course, it's early by any means, but that's something that the Agawam Brownies have to be careful of. You can't let them get themselves rattled over that touchdown. Sure, it's 7 points, you're down 7-0, and I'm sure the coaching staff has already said to these guys, hey, look, get back into this game. This is what we practice for all week long. Let's get our heads into the game. Let's start putting our game faces on, and I think maybe we'll see the Agawam Brownies do a little bit better here on their second offensive series.
Yeah, we're still about halfway through the first quarter here, and we still have a lot of football ahead of us. So, 7 points at this stage of the game is not an unreachable type of situation.
No, it's not. 84, Richard Falzone set to kick off for the Minnechaug Falcons. Brownies take the ball. Loose ball over there on the sideline. Could not tell through that mass of bodies. It looks like if that's where the ball is going to be spotted, and it is, it'll be the Brownies' ball, 1st and 10 from about the 37-yard line, where they'll start on their second offensive series.
Oh, that was kind of a tough kick there as the kicker launched that ball. It took a sharp slice to the right, and then it was not really an end over end. It was kind of a birdie ball, I guess you want to call it. And didn't really have good possession when he didn't come in contact with it, so there was a fumble there that he was able to recover.
Okay, Agawam Brownies now set to go on their second offensive series, 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Ball pitched out, handed off to 44, Botsakis, and boy, did he get smothered. Right there was number 28, Scott Corzin. And somebody missed a blocking assignment on that, I'm sure, because Botsakis was smothered there on his first carry of the afternoon.
Yeah, that was kind of a tough one, and it was also came very, very close to an infraction for a face mask, because Jason's head kind of snapped to the left there a little bit as he was tackled. So I think that's what he was looking at the officials saying, hey, come on, guys, watch the play.
Pick up a 1 on the Botsakis carry, 2nd and 9 for the Agawam Brownies. Ball at the 38-yard line. Ball given to, Moriarty on the keeper. He looked to pitch it off, hit there by 15, Brian Maloney. Nice run on the quarterback keeper by Dan Moriarty. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 2 from the 45-yard line.
Yeah, that option play works very, very well. Gives you the opportunity of either pitching it or hanging on to it. In this particular case, Dan Moriarty decided to hang on to the ball, picked up his 4 or 5-yard gain. And Agawam's marching down the field, and that's what they've got to do.
Well, you kind of like that quarterback option. Chicopee used it very, very well against the Agawam Brownies with Adrian Maluski and their quarterback, Sean Quigley. And they run that, that offense very, very well. Ball